Welcome in everybody to tonight's edition of Otter Talk as we get ready to dive into some Blue Otter Masters action a little bit later in the evening. I've got some awesome guests tonight. One of our guests appears not to be here, but that is okay. We have Holy Carrot, aka Anchovy, and Riddy from Toronto Gaming Zeta. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to see you guys. Hope everybody's doing well this evening.
Yeah, doing great.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Glad to hear. Hey, listen, you guys have enjoyed a really great start to the year. I'm a little sad you guys are on bye week this week. 3-0 start. To be expected. Honestly, you guys continue to just really feel like you run the league at times. The fact that you've gotten to muscle through all the teams should be an exciting Blue Otter Master season, especially for you guys. Before we even get into stuff about the teams tonight and the power rankings and all that, how do you guys feel about the start to your season so far? Anchovy, I want to start with you.
It's been pretty easy so far, I think. To be honest, I think we got the easier side of the groups. So besides like some team scruffle and some little fighting, I think it's been pretty nice, pretty easy so far.
Trouble in paradise?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's just funny whenever we fight with each other.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. Nothing's ever perfect, right? Especially in League of Legends, we all know. Hey, I called for this. Why didn't you show up? Oh, I was busy doing my own thing. Now all of a
Real.
sudden you're fighting.
Yeah.
Where do you feel about in the same vein as your guys' start to the season?
Yeah, we kind of had a rough start. I mean, it's to be expected because it's like a new. Even though I play with Joker, it's like still a new dynamic with everyone. I guess I play with Carrot, but he wants support. I'm not gonna go there. That was something else. Yeah. So I mean, it's just figuring out kinks like what to do. I mean, so far it's like we have our playstyle down. It's just if we can go further with it. So yeah.
Glad to
Pretty
hear.
excited.
Glad to hear. Hopefully you'll be able to refine your game, and by the time the playoffs roll around, everything will be good to go. And speaking of playoffs and records and everything like that, we got some power rankings now that you guys were very very kind to fill out, myself included. I haven't been around for the two of the first 3 weeks, so my power rankings I would think looked a lot different than everybody else's, but no, apparently they look much of the same here. I wish Joker was here to kind of pick his brain about some of their choices. But Holy Carrot, I see that you
Yeah.
have Team Dizzy up pretty high. I want to start with you on that front because we got Team Dizzy down near the middle of the pack.
Yeah. To be honest, I only have Team Dizzy at the top if like two of the players on the team actually or two of the subs on the team becomes like starter. I'm not too sure what they're doing with like their roster and stuff because they like subbed in like different top and jungle for like last week or something. I think if like the like Halls plays jungle and Alaskan Sunbeer plays top, I think that team is like pretty good. I don't think they're bad. Also, I just think like I don't think DDG is that great, so that's why I have Team Dizzy up high.
All right, that makes sense. Rudy, you said that you had a hot take that Team Dizzy would actually win out.
Yeah.
But if you have Kodiak and Halls on
Yeah.
the top
I-
side, but you put them fourth still, which I find interesting.
I think the only reason why is because I think the bottom three teams, they either have like very big apparent issues or they're just like not cut out. So, I mean, the thing about Team Dizzy is like they already played us, they already played Yippee, and Yippee already won. They already played Dizzy. I think this DDG Dizzy series will be close, but even though they have the strong top side, I still think if they do play Halls and Kodiak, but I'm still kind of like unsure about their mid, even though I know Temtem, but that guy's like support and he played mid with me in a draft league, and I'm like, okay, he's hit or miss depending on like if he plays the game or not. So I think it's safe to put them fourth and not like overreact and say they're second. But I can see them being third and taking over Yippee. But I think DDG and us are pretty locked in at 1-2, depending how our game week 5, week 6, I think. That's when we play them.
Okay. And when you say win out the rest of their matches, you mean after this week, I assume? Because I see that you
Yeah.
had drop dead over them 2-1. So I figured that's what you were
Yeah,
getting
I
at.
mean, I should change it, but like, I mean, they
Well,
for
no,
sure
what do
will
you
win.
think?
They
What do you-
should win out after the
Okay.
DDG, 100%. Like,
Okay, that
if
makes
that's the
sense.
top. But I only put 2-1 just because of like their new additions. So I will always like favor the team that's been together. Like DDG is 3 out of the 5 players played together. This is their third split, right? And Lester's been coaching them. I mean, like, I rather value longevity over just like a strong roster, right? So we'll see. It's going to be a close game, but I will still put 2-1. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but yeah. I think it's safe to put them 4th and DDG 2nd, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Now, Holy Carrot, you know, you see we've got a little bit of mixing and matching near the bottom. You appear to have Rubber Ducky a little bit higher than we do.
Right.
Do you think that Rubber Ducky is kind of close to being able to contest the top 4? Or there's just like a large gap between them and Yippee?
Nah, honestly, I don't think the like bottom 3 is like in their own league, I feel like, and then top 4. I guess I don't think RDG is close to Team Yippee or like to the top 4.
Okay.
I think they're
All
like
right.
I don't know. I feel like they're just really honestly, like between the bottom 3 teams, I was like looking at their match results for like 10 minutes and I couldn't decide like where to put them in the bottom 3. But
Yeah, you just throw them somewhere, you know. It's just like, oh, we have the top 4, then we've got some space over here, and then we've got the teams over near the bottom. Well, hopefully, any of those teams will be able to make a surprise run and make things pretty interesting because, you know, like we all see here, that top 4 is very, very much the same. But obviously, we have 2 divisions, not just one. So you can have a look over at the Ixatal divisions for the power rankings that we had here. And over here, all right, this is where potentially my not being here for 2 out of the 3 weeks is going to hurt me because I put Lit up really high after like taking a look at the rosters and stuff like that, and you know, I'm gonna stand by it because just looking at, you know, match histories and stuff like that. Obviously, you can only glean so much, but all right. So I want the both of you to tell me why I'm wrong, starting with Riddy.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone should like agree. It's like should be hands down. Like first place should always like the Lonery team, like whatever like science fair project teams he makes. I mean, the guy is probably the best player. I mean, I'm gonna overglaze him, but I think he's the best player in 600. But after that, I think it becomes like honestly, it gets everywhere. I think like there's a really good top team, and then it's like battle for second. And I mean, I think Krabs has been together like Drex, Palmgo, Trinity, all really good, solid players. So I think it's like they should be the second seed. And BOZ is like more of I don't know if you would call it friends team, but I've seen those guys together. I think, but I mean, looking at their results, they played solid. And then it's kind of like BOZ and Flash, like it's like whoever really wins that series today, I think they play. I might be wrong, I don't know. But yeah, I mean the bottom 3 teams, it's just I don't know, it's like kind of their own league. Like watching that series last week, if you saw it, Yanni, it was something. It was.
I heard.
It was a
it was...
bloodbath. It was the kind of like, okay, I know there was safeties by guilt, but like playing top, it was just oh my god, that was something. So I think it's really is the battle for second in this group, and then just figure out who's gonna make playoffs and who isn't. So
yeah, it seems like how it was going to go down. You know, the only match that I actually got to cast was Krabs Radiant versus the Omega McDonald's Grill Masters, and the Grill Masters seemed like they were a pretty good team. So Holy Carrot, when you guys, where do you think you guys compare to the Omega McDonald's Grill Masters? I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We've got many weeks of play, many different things can happen, but it feels like both your team and their team are the top 2 teams. So like when you take a look at them, are you just like, this is like if we played them in a best of 5, it goes the distance, or what?
Honestly, it's hard to say because every time that I've played against Lornery or like their jungler and their team in other leagues, I think I've lost like every time. So
Oof.
I don't I don't know. Like part of me always like have that confidence that like they're not that good, can definitely just beat them. But I don't think I've ever beaten them in a league. So definitely the team to beat, I think. So
You do lose to
and
Dorado teams. Just saying.
Yeah, that is true. They always lose to Dorado, so
Oh, there you go. So that'll
Yeah.
balance out the fact that you haven't been able to beat them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you might be in a pretty good spot there. All right, so you already you kind of mentioned that like this is also feels like a league where the bottom teams are or a little suspect. Is that right?
Not as much as our group, I feel like. This is
Right.
kind of like, I mean, I think the 4490 team is like a for fun team. I don't know, I'm sorry, but I think they're just either they're not trying or it's just for fun. And then like it really is just a battle of like who's getting the playoff spots. But again, like I'll prefer longevity and like I think the Crabs team is really good in the sense like they have like a good play style and then everyone else is just there. I don't know. That's how I feel. So
Okay. Yeah. So we'll see if they're able to hold on to their spot again. Hopefully, hopefully my prediction comes to pass and ends up being the second best team out of here. But who flashed that fight? Also looks like they're
yeah.
a solid enough roster. So we'll have to see how things pan out as we have some predictions this evening. 'Cause we have quite a few games going on here, and we seem to be all in alignment, save for Holy Carrot. Once again, it feels like
Oh god.
you are a Duck believer.
Um I'm pretty sure we played both of these teams, right?
Who? Yippee and
No, Duck and Maelstrom.
You guys.
yeah, we did.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
our week 2 and 3.
Right.
And week 1 was Dizzy. So yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so you guys played them back to back. So the Holy Carrot, what were your feelings when you played against them week 2 compared to week 3? Now was that
Okay.
between patches though? Was that between patches or no?
I think week 1 was just only the normal patch, right? Or was it week 2?
I
I honestly
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember. I don't remember.
Doesn't matter. All right. So
Yeah.
what were your feelings between playing them back to back weeks and how much they differed when in testing
Well,
you? I guess.
maybe I'm coping because like I had like a really bad last week and my team was like flaming me
Dude,
for
I
it.
swear this guy's win trading. I still am on it. But yeah, go ahead.
No, but yeah, maybe I'm coping, but like I swear this RDG mid laner was like playing really well, and I was like really surprised on like how. Okay, usually whenever I play like mid laners at this elo, like they never really punish me for the stuff I do, even though it's like really troll. But this guy was like kind of punishing me for like the mistakes I was making, so I thought like he was really good. And again, maybe I'm just coping and then like giving him too much credit, but that I don't know. That's what like made me believe that this team might be good or better, I guess, than the other bottom teams.
Okay. Riddy, what did you see out there?
Okay, so I'm the only reason why I'm putting Maelstrom over RDG is one, RDG's jungler quit the team right after we beat them. He's my homie, and I know he doesn't want to play with them anymore, so respect. And then also I think Maelstrom's AD is really good. He's one of like I've seen him around, and I think if Maelstrom plays around him, it's good. But I think their top side is very flippy, so it really just depends if like this AD is can carry the rest of the team, in my opinion. But RDG seems like it's more of a developmental team, and Drake doesn't really care what the score is, which is fair. And also, it just depends like whatever roster he wants to put in. So yeah.
That makes sense. Holy Carrot, would you like to change your prediction now that you know that the jungler quit the team?
Nah, I'm committing to it. I'm telling you, this mid laner is.
You play
He
him
has
tomorrow
potential.
in AML.
Yes, I am playing him tomorrow. Maybe I'll change my opinion then. But this guy has
But
potential.
not right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's reasonable, and I can respect that. The other difference, obviously, that we see here is Team Dizzy and Drop Dead Gaming going at it. Already going on. What's the word I'm looking for? announcing to the world, I guess, that he believes that Team Dizzy will win out after this week. Meanwhile, Holy Carrot, you're just like, nah, they win out after starting today against Drop Dead Gaming. So what makes you so confident that Team Dizzy is going to take it? Because Drop Dead has been looking pretty good.
Well, I think for me, it's really less about how like confident I am of Team Dizzy. I am really confident of like their top side if like those two players like Halls and Kodiak does end up playing.
Yeah.
But I think DDG is like overrated, like hella. Like even though they've been like doing really well in like these past like leagues, like in other leagues, and doing really well this split too, I've always seen them as like an average looking team that's beating the other bad teams, so they look good.
Okay. All right. I can respect that take there. Riddy, why? All right. So why do you think that that's an incorrect take? Because very clearly,
I mean,
you don't feel like it is.
I just have to give credit where it's like shown, because like I feel like respectfully I got like actually like wiped like in Titan last split. But the only reason why was I felt like never saw the person that they like removed like absolutely destroy my mid laner. But like I still think they're a good team. It just feels like I know the sport's always going to play engage, so it really depends like if it shifts into like a more enchanter-ish like double range meta, how is it going to work with them? But I'm still going to give it to the longevity team over Team Dizzy, where like okay, they got their two good core top side. They have a mid laner that's from support, but it'll probably just play facilitators, which I think Halls likes. And then it just really depends if their bot lane can prove like they can handle. But I don't know if it was a different bot lane or the same bot lane. So that's why I'm saying like DGG has the edge, but I'm still gonna say 2-1.
Okay. I think that's quite reasonable, and I like that you decided to touch upon the meta. It's been what, a week and a half, 2 weeks since the most recent change where AD carries have literally become piss useless, and everybody's back to playing AP mid laners and everything like that. So I want to ask you guys a couple of questions about your team and how that's affected the entire team dynamic and the way you guys are going into games. Starting with Holy Carrot, have you had to like basically change your entire mid pool over the last couple of weeks?
Not really. Like, I've never been like a player that played like only a couple of champions because I get bored of them a lot. So like, I'm not gonna lie,
Facts.
like I don't even know like what my best champion is right now. So I just end up like just taking suggestions from my team, and then I just like put in some games into it. And I played so many champions in the past, and I played this game for so long that it isn't really like hard for me to like pick up champions back up.
That's
for,
always nice. That's
I
pretty
think-
great. Oh, go ahead.
I think from you seeing me how I play, Yanni, you always see my like carry champions, and
Yeah,
I mean,
you just don't care what the
just
meta is.
I just hate like tanks, right? Like
Yeah.
I always want to be like on the pedal, like I just want to carry. So it's nice to play with carry if he's on facilitator, but like obviously if the team comp requires it, I'll play it. But you know how I feel, so
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about this current meta? Since it feels like you can get away with some carries at times, but most of the time we're seeing those tanks, these facilitators, Sejuani's, Iverns, stuff like that, which doesn't really, is obviously not what you really enjoy playing.
Right. I think it just depends on like how the enemy team punishes it. Like, I feel really confident with my laners, like that they're pretty self-reliant, or like we can just play more for team fight. Really depends on the team. So I think like it'll be a test against DDG on like if we want to just play how we've been playing, or do we want to switch things up. But I'll just see like how stuff goes. But I think against like almost every other team, I think we can just play whatever strong suit is. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You got to respect that. And especially, player that's been around as long as you have in this league. Everybody knows what you're going to go after, what you're going to play, and then go and try and take home a trophy. All right. So I have to ask you guys because, you're going to have a couple weeks left before the playoffs. Obviously, you got like a 3-week period. What do you think is if you dropped a game to a team in your division, what is the most likely team that would give you guys trouble?
Like
Um,
from the other group or this? Like in
No, from
playoff?
this current group before before you get into playoffs. If you were to drop a series, like what team do you think would give you the most trouble?
I mean, for me, it's 100% DDG. I think that's the series to look for between first and second. I mean, we already played Dizzy, so it kind of like is like okay, we don't get to play against their new roster, and I think Kimchi and I mean, did we play Yippee yet? We didn't, right?
no,
I don't think we did.
No, not
Yeah,
yet.
I think it's just DDG. I think Yippee is like, I don't know, it's hard. Like their ranks don't represent their skills, but I feel like DDG is the only team that will be our troubles. So, I don't know.
You guys don't play them until week 6. Holy Carrot, you thinking the same there, or is it
Yeah.
you think Drop Dead Gaming's not that good though?
I mean, I don't think we're dropping a game, but
I don't think so either. For what it's worth, I'm gonna keep it a stack. And you know
I
what?
mean-
I'm been wrong many times before. It's like cast or curse for a reason. But what would it be to them, or would it be to like?
if we were to drop a game, I mean,
Mhm.
I definitely think they are the second best team in our group. Wait, no, hold on. They're not the second best team in the group. I think Team Dizzy is better, but I think out of the teams that we need to play, which is just DDG and Team Yippee, they are definitely the better team. But again, I'm not really worried about like.
You
any
guys
team.
got Kimchi in the
Oh.
last week of the season.
Oh, you're right. Maybe Kimchi can pull an upset. Maybe I don't know. Like,
Maybe you guys will just play out of position at that point.
Dude. Oh, no.
All right, can we real quick? Can we talk about how Kimchi Esports has like probably one of the best logos I've seen in my life?
Dude, they were like a different team, right? They were Vaporwave? Like, Vaporwave
It's such
Korean
a sick
esports?
team name.
But they're,
yeah, it is.
it's, yeah. Actually, 5 Koreans. That's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, and, that's
And they're
super
last.
interesting,
They already
honestly.
lost? I think
Yeah, they are last.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah, which
man.
is crazy. That's like, I don't know, it's ridiculous. And then I go take a look at their OP.GGs, and a lot of them are low diamond right now. I know it's a little difficult because the season just started.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you guys about your solo queue escapades and adventures. I find we're pretty well connected on Twitter when it comes to League Twitter, and I find that there's a lot of people who are like GM or even like low challenger that are struggling to start the split essentially, and are like hovering around high diamond or like can't retain master. Do you think it's a byproduct of like any potential changes they made when the ranked reset went out? It's meta, or is it just taking more time to grind out these games? No longer can you get there on such a small amount of games.
I think they did something about like LP gains, no? And then like
Yeah.
the small
Yeah.
MMR reset. Like, if you were challenger last split, you could gain like 80 LP every game, and like you would get back like pretty fast. But I think now, like most people, even if you ended challenger last split, you're just gaining like 20 after you're done your placements. So it's probably just taking longer for people.
Already, you think it's much of the same?
I haven't been playing much ranked. It's just flex for me, so it's really.
Hell yeah, brother!
Uh,
Let me tell you how much I love.
yeah,
playing
but it
Flex.
looks pretty doomed. So I think I'm just gonna chill, Let's see how it goes, and then. But it seems like all my friends are like 50 games, like stuck diamond. So
You're like,
I'm
you know
good.
what?
I'm
I'll
good.
wait.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly, exactly. Until I'm forced to play this game, I'm not playing solo queue on my main. So.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. So if Blue Otter decided to at any point in time raise the cap and allow people to go past Master 600 LP, would y'all two be out there grinding to try to hit Grandmaster and higher?
No.
Mm,
Oh wow, jeez. Why
Yeah,
not?
I'll
I
try.
mean, obviously, you mentioned that
Uh,
you don't like the grind very much, but
I don't know. I just don't really. I mean, I play this game as like a hobby, right? So it's like I
That's
don't
fair.
really have any aspirations to go higher, and I'm already getting old. So it's like I just play with the homies. So it goes. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah, all right, that's true. I did forget about one other thing. I did forget about the Ixatal predictions. That's my bad.
Oh.
I wasn't paying
pick.
attention properly. I apologize to everybody. We actually have those matches and those predictions. If we could get them up. Hold on. Whoa. All right. Wait a minute. I can't help thinking we're missing something here.
Yeah. um.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll get those fixed up in just a moment or two. I was like, all right, well, that's an interesting logo. Just nothing there, right? All right. So we've got Crabs versus Lit Esports. Before that comes back up, we can go. We can dive into that one a little bit. Y'all think it's going to be the Crabs taking it? Y'all think that they are far and away the second best team? I hopefully am going to be cheering the conquer of the Crabs from Lit Esports, but knowing me, like I said, I'll probably be wrong. But I don't know.
Who's
I attach a lot of
Crabs
I attach a lot of value just to the name of Lit Esports, just by
Oh.
virtue of like, oh, I cast their tier 3 team and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, Lit Esports has to be good, right?
They're all right. I don't think they're necessarily.
I
that good,
mean,
though.
the thing is, like, it just seems like roster balance. I mean, like, it's just a different roster every game, and like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
feel
the big
like-
issue. Like when
I
you're
think
just like on a
Crabs is just-
carousel of players.
Crabs just always have like a set game plan. I feel like their ADC and mid are like very good carry players, and then their jungler is just a good like facilitator. So I think it's a good balance. While Lit is just like, okay, they're here to play. They show up, they show up. If they don't, they don't. So it's like it's kind of awkward. I mean, respect my goat deadbotting, but yeah, it really just depends if they want to show up that day.
Yeah, it always feels like the teams that have the most consistency amongst their players, you know, doing as little substitutions as possible and everything like that, are the ones that end up, you know, doing very well in these leagues. So it just feels weird to me sometimes that just like, yes, we're gonna staple a bunch of subs in, but you know, in the end, I think a lot of people are just ended up playing in this league as a hobby, as you mentioned that you like doing already. But I have seen a couple of people actually make the jump. Like I have seen a couple of player names, you know, all of a sudden when I'm casting like OQs and stuff like that, like, yo, this guy played in Blue Otter League. Like, wait a minute, this is pretty lit. All right. I think we finally have the predictions up here. Okay. All right. They're
It's-
kind of correct.
Is it
Well, I
just
think so.
Flash that's missing? Okay,
I believe so.
that's
yes.
fine, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
So, all right. So let's dive into that one a little bit because we are clearly a desk divided here. So
Oh, God.
who flashed that fight versus the Boomers? Rudy, what do you see in the Boomers?
Yeah, my issue with the Flash team is that they did a roster change where they moved their support to top, and then I'm trying to find it. And then they found they got Dunzy, who's played in BOL before. I think that guy's a good support, but my issue is I don't know how Sting is up top lane. Retex used to be one of my collegiate teammates, so I think he's good, but he was an ADC, so I don't know how the transition to mid is going. And then Alistar's always been like a BOL staple with Dunzy, so wonder if they can take it from Boomers, but I think with the roster change, it makes it awkward to figure out how each team works. But I think Boomers should have the edge over who flashed that fight. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, with the change, you know, with the patch that made AD mid laners quite a bit weaker, obviously it's gonna hurt who flashed that fight just a little bit with you know, Retex maybe not having super strong champions to pull from as much. You know, like obviously we knew how strong AD carries were gonna be, but now you see even, you know, some Jin mids and stuff like that. I'm sure Alistar's very happy that Jin's in the meta. That was like one of his most played champions. All right, Holy Carrot. We gotta defend who flashed that fight, man, on against Boomers over Zoomers. I have a feeling that Riddy only, you know, chose Boomers over Zoomers because their AD carry's name is Gritty.
True.
That is a good point. That is a good point. I don't know. I don't think. Maybe I'm just being like negative all the time, but I played against like that gritty guy and support in other leagues. I don't think they were that great. I know their jungler too. He did like a tryout for like one of my teams. He ended up like not taking up the offer, so yeah, that guy sucks. Anyways, I think like I think like Dunsey and Alistar is like the only players I would like I know like pretty well or seen them play a lot. So like and they're like really good players, IMO, that could definitely beat boomers over zoomers.
Okay. And for the final matchup, we have
Oh.
Abstract Gaming Pizza Chicken, which is honestly one of the greatest team names I have
Well,
ever heard in my life.
I just saw it.
Versus. Oh, what'd you say?
I see Captain's chat and Abstract Gaming just FF'd agast
Oh
49,
god.
4490.
Let's go. We were right.
Easiest prediction.
We were right. Easiest prediction of my life. All right, now we get to make fun of Riddy. I bet you enjoy
This
pineapple
guy-
on your abstract
Oh,
pizza.
hell no. I mean, I don't know. I just saw 4490's gameplay and I'm like, this has to be a diamond. Like
The game plan was have your opponent FF,
I
no?
was omega disgusted. So like, it is what it is. But if they
Yeah.
FF'd, unlucky.
Yeah, it means we don't get to see 4490 put their game plan into action. I am also wondering why their logo is an AI rendition of Santa Claus, it appears.
I don't know what the lore. Is this one
I
of the
don't-
teams that joined late? I think so.
I actually do not know, honestly. I probably.
But I've never
seems-
seen any
seems
of
pretty
these
likely.
players.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
take a look. Let's take a deep dive onto the
They've
rookie
all-
GGs. I have them right here. Let's see. Okay, only one of their players actually has an OP.G. Wait, hold on. No, that's not right. I don't know. This is why I don't like to do stuff like off the cuff right away. Yeah, some emeralds, some diamonds, stuff like that. It seems like it'll be hard to compete against the top teams, but when you get an FF victory, it
win
makes
is
it a
win.
little bit easier, right? Although you don't get that that practice. Would you rather have an FF win or actually play the game? Because I know everybody's opinion on that sort of thing's a little different.
Just depends on the team, but I don't know. You join a league to play, right? So it's kind of like I want to play and like
For sure.
it's good experience, but some teams will just like sometimes you're like, okay, this is just kind of a waste of time, but like obviously it's nice to just play just for like practice. So you can take it both ways, but so who knows? Maybe the chicken or the pizza team and 4490 just
The
need to
pizza
practice.
team.
I'm just gonna call it pizza.
The
So
pizza team. Holy carrot, what about you? You prefer playing your games, or if you take an FF when you're like,
Yeah,
oh, thank God, I can do something else now?
No, I'd rather play than I play this game a lot, so I'd rather just play it instead of it's kind of like a scheduled thing too for me. Like every game is like scheduled. I'm expected to just like play on these days. So if I end up not playing, I just feel like lost. I don't know what to do anymore. So
Oh damn, it ruins your whole day. You just kind of sit there. It's like, what do you do when you're not playing Blue Water League Masters? Wait for the next week
that's-
of Blue Water League Masters.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, hopefully no FF wins in your guys' future, and hopefully both of you will enjoy continued success this season. Holy carrot, any last statements? Any statements to the community at large potentially?
I'll save it for when we win the league, I think.
Oh, okay. You're one of those people who waits till afterward. You know who I know isn't one of those people? Ready.
Oh god.
oh no.
Listen, you don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to go out there and make some grand proclamation. But I'll say this, having known you for some time, I will be disappointed.
You know what? I just have to shout out, like, I don't know if you saw the Titan team that I'm on.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the name?
I didn't see the name of it. What's the name of your team?
It was Omega Akuma Riddy's Ego.
Oh,
So I gotta
my
like shout out
goodness, bro.
McGuire for leading that team, a goat. Holy Carrot's father, so it's big.
What?
I don't even know if he
Jesus,
played
fri-
against each other.
friendly
You did
fire,
finals,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, we played each other. Oh god.
Is this why you guys are having team problems?
Oh shit.
And you heard it here first, everybody. The season has been ruined for Dorado Gaming Zeta.
it's good.
Yeah, really the next one.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for being fantastic guests. Really appreciate your time here on Otter Talk. Everybody, thank you so much for listening into Otter Talk. Stick around because hopefully within the next 10 minutes, we'll have a great matchup for you here in Blue Otter League Masters. Maelstrom Esports versus Rubber Ducky Gaming. Do not go anywhere. Myself and Shibby will be giving you all the action at the top of the hour. We'll see you soon. Welcome in, Otters, to Blue Otter Masters League Week 4. It's been a long time since I've seen myself and Shibby on the same screen. But as promised during Otter Talk, it is here, Shibby and I, for this matchup between Rubber Ducky Gaming and Maelstrom Esports. So we are already getting into the picks and the bans very early here, Shibby. And there's been a lot of meta changes recently. After that big patch that made 80 carries pretty much useless, we're seeing champions like Kog'Maw shoot up in popularity.
Yeah, on hit is kind of the new flavor, right? Or like these kind of like more lane dominant champions as well. The other flip side, things like Jhin or Ashe, right? Just stuff that kind of just like is utility, is useful, doesn't need a whole ton of damage as you do burn through the best. I also like how you call the viewers otters. I love that. I just wanted to point that out. But we do get through the bans here. Yone, Nautilus, pretty standard. I think we're going to see some of the champions that rose in popularity, these like full clear tank junglers as well. Udyr, one of my favorite champions, going to be taken off the board. Things like Jarvan and Xin Zhao, more gank heavy junglers, have been very popular to pair up with things like the Ahri, the Syndra in the mid lane. These strong mid 2v2 combos are back, right? Done is the age of the 80 mid laners. We are back. The world is healing, Yanni. We've got mages back in the mid lane, and we've got either hyperscaling bot laners or utility bot laners coming in.
You want to know one thing, Shibby, that I want to know? What the hell is going on with draft law?
I don't know.
So, to peel behind the curtain a little bit, we have the draft law website up to the side, and the picks are super laggy. They get locked in, and it's just a black or gray bar, and it sits there for 10 seconds. So we don't know who the hell's getting picked as they're getting picked until like 10 seconds later. But producer Chippy is doing a great job behind the glass. So back to the picks. What RDG is doing here, the Ducks. I like it. Syndra, Ashe, two of the more popular picks on the patch right now with their 1-2 punch. Feels like they got some strong ones. But on the other side, Maelstrom, Nico, Nocturne. There's going to be a lot of chaos in these team fights.
Bread and butter. I'm very surprised that they ended up going for the Nico Nocturne combo instead of the Orianna Nocturne combo.
Could be Nico support.
Yeah, could be Nico support as well. There is a possibility for that. Typically, like to see that paired up with the Kalista, though, because you can throw her in, ult, or you can throw her back into your body and throw her out again. Like, there's a lot of cool combos that you've seen. We've seen T1 execute it and Worlds, I believe it was yesterday. So there's a lot of different funny things you can do. Like I said, would have preferred the Ori because I think they have a better laning phase against the Syndra. They can survive more. They have the ability to, like, tank out the burst. Their itemization helps a lot more, and they're more useful in some of these team fights. Nico's kind of those one and done, like, spell rotation champions, right? She gets all of her spells off, and then she's kind of left out to dry. Pairs really well with the Nocturne. Obviously, you turn the lights off. You don't know where the Nico's coming from, and you jump onto these immobile carries, right? Syndra, Ashe do have to be cognizant of where this Nico was last seen so they can peel back properly. If they don't know what's happening, this team fight for Maelstrom Esports is already in the bag.
You don't know, now you know, right?
Yeah.
The Duckies have to be cooking something up here with the Silas ban. There's not too many great ultimates to take away right now. And even if you're a Silas main, first of all, why are you doing that to yourself? You never know what you're going to get. But if the values on your ultimates are pretty low, you're not going to like what you see. So I am interested to see what a part of their strategy is. And it does appear that we should see a Seraphine come in here from Rubber Ducky on R4 here, which does make a lot of sense for the Silas ban now.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I think, Rubber Ducky heavily thinks this Nico is going support, or they're at least banning out the idea that it can be flex support by taking the Silas away, so it's kind of forced into this mid lane. Rel is another champion that really benefits from Nocturne turning the lights off. I think what we've seen as the evolution of Nocturne gaming has kind of come online is that he's this champion that goes in, needs a lot of dive. You typically see like Kai'Sa and Ahri coming in with it, but there's a different use now. People have been better on using the actual ultimate ability of where it turns off all the lights and makes it so there's no vision. These big team fight champions that need a lot of setup, either over walls or over vision, you cut the lights out, these champions become exponentially a lot stronger here, things like Nico and Rel. So they're kind of fully utilizing Nocturne's kit, which I've really liked, and I think Maelstrom Esports have picked up very, very well.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a symptom of Worlds, to be honest with you. This is how you know that a team, players individually have watched Worlds and said, hey, we can like execute the strategy. It's not super difficult, or you're just thinking of the game at a bit of a higher layer or higher level. Which is fantastic because that means the player base is getting better. This game has been out for how long, and the players continue to get better and better, which means the quality of games that we get to cast get better and better. Renekton and Cassante, some things never change, all right? The quality of top lane remains what it is at times. But this seems very stock standard for the current meta. You elect to go to a hyper carry instead of a utility carry. You are going with your tank support. Your jungler's got engage. It's not exactly a tank, but then you've got your control mage in the mid lane, right? This is kind of what a lot of these teams have been drawing up.
Yeah, Renekton Cassante is just new age Renekton Mundo. That's really what it is. That's all it really is at the end of the day. Cassante, I like
You're so right. I hate that you're right.
Yeah, it adds that little flavor of like being able to isolate certain champions out if you can jump onto the Jinx. I think Maelstrom Esports comp heavily relies on landing the Wombo, right? If they kind of miss it or they whiff or they kind of go into a Rubber Ducky gaming that's very prepared for this, right? With the counter Seraphine ult, with the Cassante ult, probably ulting out something like the Rel or the Nocturne away or even the Renekton. There's a lot of counterpunch on Rubber Ducky's side here, so I'm very interested to see kind of how they catch this Maelstrom Esports, Wombo combo that they've got cooked up. Renekton is one of those plug-and-play champions. You can kind of get him on the side wave, you can get him TPing in the backline while the Nocturne ultimate is going off, which hides his flank. A lot of cool things you can do with this Nocturne ultimate, a lot of cool things you can do with Maelstrom Esports composition, but I am very worried for this Jinx in particular because that's where a lot of that, kind of extended fight damage is going to come from, and she needs to get those resets as quick as possible.
Yeah, this Maelstrom Esports composition is really pure chaos, a lot of zone control, a lot of team fight control, and the ability for Jinx to pop off, for Nocturne to be a carry out of the jungle. Obviously, the burden of execution on Maelstrom Esports is a little higher than Rubber Ducky Gaming, but Chibi, there's one critical thing that we haven't touched on with Rubber Ducky Gaming. This team composition they have is milk toast, so to speak. Who is their carry? Like, sure, Syndra can carry games, but Syndra's not. Obviously, the champion can blow somebody up, but when you talk about, like, I am playing a carry mid laner, Syndra isn't really one of the champions you talk about.
It's tough because in those extended team fights, right, she has to, like, continuously land a lot of her rotation spells. Like you mentioned, she can blow somebody up, but realistically, in this scenario, her job is to blow up the Jinx. If Jinx dies, I don't know how much more oomph Maelstrom Esports has in that team fight, right? Like, the extended damage is really the big kind of game changer here. Jinx obviously has it over the Ashe. Ashe is no slouch of a champion. She does do damage, but I get what you're saying, right? There's no, like, Varus, there's no Kog'Maw, there's no hard carry champion.
How's she supposed to do damage against this team?
I agree. I agree. And I think realistically, the idea behind Rubber Ducky Gaming's composition is that they kind of wait for the counterpunch, right? They look for picks onto the Jinx. They continuously fire the Ashe arrow. They got a lot of good follow-up, right? Jarvan Syndra, one of those tried and true combos. Nico's also somewhat immobile. Yeah, she has the clone that she can throw out. But if you alter, she's gonna be trapped in the Cataclysm. She has to flash. So both mid 2v2s waiting for that level 6, waiting for that ability to just blow the other guy up. But on Rubber Ducky's side, they have a little bit more freedom to do what they want because Nocturne typically wants to cycle his camps until he hits level 6. Jarvan, one of those champions that's very good in the early game, very good in the mid game, kind of begins to fall off as the game goes later, right? He becomes a Cataclysm bot, realistically.
Yeah, that seems very reasonable, and I like that you mentioned that they're just waiting for the counterpunch. It is very anti-dive composition from Rubber Ducky, and Maelstrom very much wants to get in there with Nocturne, with Rel, with Nico to a lesser extent. So we'll see if what Rubber Ducky Gaming has put together can take on the might and sheer power that Maelstrom Esports has drafted. We are sitting in the spectator delay right now, which means we are going to take a very short break. And when we return, we'll give you all the action of Game 1 between Maelstrom Esports and Rubber Ducky Gaming. Alrighty, everybody, we are back here. Another exciting edition of the Blue Otter League. Finally, dude, it feels like forever since I've casted a BOL Masters game. And I'm super excited about it. Fingers crossed that nothing bad happens. For those who may not have been paying attention to the draft, Maelstrom on the blue side, Ducky Gaming on the red side. Both teams just kind of sitting with a line of scrimmage here. Shibby, we've seen a high priority on early jungle vision. You being a connoisseur of the jungle, does Nocturne have a way in to really disrupt this Jarvan?
I mean, if like mid lane's winning or like they can potentially play for top camps, right? Like usually Ashe Seraphine is just gonna have perma shove onto Jinx and like melee support, whether it's a Rel, Nautilus, an Alistar, whatever. Pick your flavor. It's just not a fun lane, and they are gonna get that like slightly early vision. They're gonna find out at least where the Jarvan is kind of starting. Like process of elimination, there's no way he has enough time to run down to his bot camp and start that. But Jarvan's pathing is always very interesting. There's a lot of shenanigans he can do. Level 2 gank, 3 camp gank, 4 camp. Like, there's a lot of different stuff he can do. Whereas Nocturne, granted, he can gank. It's just not his forte in the early game. He needs, like, setup. Really, really good setup. And, luckily, there's a Renekton and a Nico in the mid lane. So I expect Nocturne to play around his solo lanes. And I expect David to go down bot lane and hopefully punish this Jinx and Rel, right? Two very, like, somewhat immobile champions. Once Rel W's in, she's kind of just stuck, right, in her, like, human form, moving around very slowly. So we'll see what David ends up doing. They know where he started. They don't know kind of where the Nocturne is going to be, but he's going to cycle camps regardless.
Yeah, and, I find it interesting that David's starting on the top side because obviously you mentioned, punish the Rel, punish the Jinx, but you also talked about how you expect this Ashe Seraphine to get push. So it feels like David heading to the bot lane means that there's almost no way you're going to be able to get a successful gank off unless RDG can bounce this wave really, really hard and get it shoving into them and force Shameful and Fall to sleep up. So that's going to be a really important thing for the bot lanes here as Joker Shadow already getting onto the bottom quadrant in lockstep with David.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that you mentioned that jungle vision will duck throughout that hawk shot and Pops. We mentioned, right? Nico
almost got
not
popped.
having... Yeah, Pops almost got popped. We mentioned Nico not having as good of a time in laning phase against the Syndra as an Orianna would, right? You can E-shield a lot of that damage of your Orianna. With Nico, you've kind of just got to put your fancy feet on and hope that she can miss some of these kill shots. But right now, Sophian doing a good job, and you pan to the top lane, just a bunch of infighting, Renekton and Cassante. Typical trade of spells, right? He's going to call the Mig, he's going to get a bunch of his HP back. But I do want to touch on that point that you mentioned, like, why is David going bottom lane? Potentially just cover the game, right? Give the safety for Duck and Drakian to kind of just say, hey, you can shove up, you can push in, you can get as many pushes as you want. I'm here in case the Nocturne shows up. You're fine. And I think that's realistically all this bot lane needs, right? Help them out, let them shove in, let them get plates, and kind of just naturally win the game through that.
Well, Joker Shatter has gone for his full clear and then decided to split, and looks like he'll head it over to top crab, certainly wanting to get level 6 as soon as possible. David not going to waste any time, realizing his lanes are in a pretty good state. Yep, going to try to double crab them. And already this first plate is under siege here by Duck and Dracian. This is looking like it'll be a little tough. Pops is here on the move, though, to try to stop David and allow a split of the crab. You'll love to see that out of your mid laner.
Yeah, good looks, Pops. Good looks. That's very helpful. Interestingly enough, David almost had that smite coming up. Maybe waits like another second. He could have potentially started to smite that away. But yeah, split of crab, split of resources, and the game state going this way completely fine actually for Maelstrom Esports. Right? They have Jinx, they have Nocturne. No early game shenanigans, no early lane shenanigans. That works against Rubber Ducky Gaming specifically, because if I were to go late game for late game, I think Maelstrom Esports has it.
Yeah, you know what? I can really agree with that, I mean, especially this Jinx, right? That's the real big key. Obviously, Pops later on in the game, those ultimates are going to hurt quite a bit more than they are in the early game. So far, so chill here for the side of Maelstrom, as Nocturne still looking to hit that level 5. Obviously has the camps on cycle. I like the fact that RDG is trying to get a little bit of extra vision as the new announcement. Dragon has spawned, everybody. Everybody knows, I know, the players know. That's really great. Not only as a player, but as a caster. It's nice to be reminded sometimes.
I do have a nitpick.
Okay.
The fact that it's always Infernal Dragon as the icon is...
Yeah, I don't like that. That sucks.
that messes with my brain a little bit because I'm like, oh, Infernal Dragon. Oh, wait, another dragon.
Yeah, I
right?
get so excited. I'm like, I want my 4%.
Yeah. I think quality of life, guys. If anybody at Riot's listening to this, just change the icon to whatever the dragon is gonna be. That would be nice. But other than that, really cool announcement. It doesn't have as much of an impact on the game as we thought it would, right? I initially was like, oh, well, it's whatever. Should enforce more team fights. Should enforce more teams to like play around the dragon. But realistically, teams at this level are already resetting, and we see potential dive coming out from this bottom lane. But they spotted Joker in this bot side, so realistically, they can only pressure the plate. I would opt in for this dragon if I'm David, right? Joker's Shadow can't do anything. You can't really contest it. You're level 5 Nocturne. You don't have your combo in. Your mid laner is getting shoved in right now. But instead, he's going to opt into full clear. I would stack dragons if I have this bot lane. That's winning. That's the play in my opinion.
Couldn't agree more with you, Shibby. I really like Duck's hawk shot there right before a dive. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Dank Memester looking to make toasted toast. Who smells toast? Not Dank Memester. First blood.
Oh man, that's burnt toast up in the top lane here. Nice kill from the Renekton. That then will prompt, obviously, Nocturne to go for these grubs. Not that he wouldn't have, even if the kill didn't come through. But very well played. That gets them 3 early grubs. The dragon trade isn't going to come in because David opted in to full clear his bot side and run top because Yanni, guess what? He started top side. His camps are coming up. It would have been potentially inefficient for him to start that dragon. But now you don't get to trade any objectives. You just have to go back to farming against the Nocturne. And he's already level 6. You better watch out. Your mid lane's probably going to get jumped on very, very soon.
Yeah, and honestly feels like it should happen now. Now, it was a well-placed ward by David, so you'll be able to see if Nocturne's on the way, but look at what we have here! We've got a little lane swapperoo going on, Shibby. We've sent the bottom side here of RDG up to the top side after already losing grubs. Just wanting to make sure that Dank Memester can't extract any more value out of this lane. It does mean that Shameful should be able to farm up, though.
I like the lane swap in theory, but we should have swapped well before the grubs would have spawned, so you could have gotten those grubs for yourself. Now you've given over dragon control to this bot side. Toasted Toast isn't going to be able to contest this. So Joker Shadow, if I'm him, I run bottom lane, I start this dragon, and I dare Rubber Ducky Gaming to contest me on it. Because now you've got full control over the objectives, and you can potentially swap your bot lane back up 2 minutes, a minute and a half prior to this grubs. Cool in theory, Rubber Ducky Gaming, but I'm not really a fan of it. I don't think it was well executed as of right now.
Yeah, this isn't the best one in practice, right? Just because you're staring down a Jinx. Already losing the top half with that Renekton Cassante fight is a little rough. I do like the fact that it's like, okay, you need somebody to go answer. I like the backs here out of Rubber Ducky Gaming and making sure that all 5 members are here, even though it's a bit later of a dragon than we would expect. It seems like these guys have really good concepts on how to play the map. They just got to clean up a little bit when they should. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, and Toasted Toast, unfortunately, have to burn that TP. He was there simply to secure that dragon on the bot side. I think David and the rest of Rubber Ducky kind of understood, like, hey, this lane swap, we need to put our bottom lane back down here. We can't just give all the objectives over right now. And fighting the bottom lane.
Yep, and Nocturne comes flying in. The charm is there, but it's not going to be enough. Shameful is going to get that kill, and now he's going to try to do a little bit more to Duck as David has got to find a way out of there. So nice 4-man bot lane play from Maelstrom.
Yeah, easily executed. Fallen, got into that bush. Nobody saw him, and unfortunately, Draken is going to have to pay the price here. No other sums were realistically burned. It was just a flash and a Seraphine ultimate. That kill ultimately going up over to Shameful is very nice. Getting your Jinx slightly more accelerated is always nice here, but really nice kind of counterplay, I guess, from Maelstrom, right? They lose the dragon, but they take advantage of the fact that Cassante doesn't have TP, had to go top lane, Sophian has to push this mid lane in. Yeah, you lost the plate to Sophian, but realistically getting that kill onto Jinx is what your job is, at least for this Nico, right? In these team fights. And look, there's a play trying to happen mid lane. Rubber Ducky can't force anything, though.
Yeah, Scout of the Week unfortunately does not hit there, and this is the problem that Rubber Ducky is going to have when your engage is so reliant on skill shots, is that you gotta land them. And players get better at dodging once you decide and find out that, oh, there's a ton of skill shots here. Is Fallen asleep trying to get in here, and skill shots are just not landing this game, Shibby.
Yeah, it's okay. Happens. All right.
Oh,
good
there we
movement
go.
from
Got
Sofian.
him.
Yeah, I think even if that Q does land from the rel, Dracian is here, and now David is walking up with the rest of the gang. Joker doesn't have ultimate, can't join as fast as he would like. I like that Rubber Ducky is trying to put some emphasis and some vision around these grubs that are spawning very, very soon. You don't want to give 6 grubs over to a team like Jinx, like Renekton, not just for the split pressure, but in case you lose a team fight, if that's a 6 grub team pushing down those lanes, that's easily 2 towers given. So the over commitment from Rubber Ducky onto this grubs is very nice. I like this. There's no objective to trade. Let's see if they can execute this dive onto the Cassante, though. Nocturne's already taking the bot side camps. Let's see if he can kill Toasted Toast here. That would be a massive wave missed for this Cassante, and putting him very far behind even after that solo kill.
Shibi, do you think the grubs are worth the 2 plates that you gave to this Jinx? Remember, we talked about this Jinx is getting a bit of a free lane, and sure, not doing a whole lot of damage right now, but when the scoreboard pops back up, take a look at the CS differential between these 80 carries. It's even now. Remember earlier, it was 15, almost 20, and it just feels like Rubber Ducky Gaming were the ones that just allowed Shameful back into the game. It feels like they felt bad for him.
Yeah, really odd.
Wow. Got the
That is-
flash out of Sophie in there, committing nothing but the teleport and the ultimate, so give props to Pops.
Yeah, as Dank Memester, I don't know if he wants to try to outplay this dive. He knows there's 3 here. He's just trying to stay in XP range, has the dominance available. I don't know, man. I'd tempt fate here. I
He's
would
gonna
say, why
pull a
not?
Bookbow? Okay,
Yeah,
he's
no,
not, he's not going to pull a Bookbow. He's fine.
Yeah, I would have tried to stay for that dive. You have Black Cleaver, you've got ultimate. Joker can potentially come up with the ultimate. Like, you should have tempted Rubber Ducky Gaming to do the dive. Doesn't miss too much, although some plates do go over to Duck and Dracian here. Back to your earlier point, is it worth it to give Shameful those plates? I don't necessarily agree, considering he's one of the main win conditions for this composition, right? I think trying to keep this Jinx down as far as possible, especially since he's throwing lethality, which is going to have an earlier spike, is the play here, right? And giving those plates over as a result of you having to overcommit onto these grubs is just a byproduct of kind of how you play the map. Dragon is coming up in about a minute here. Let's see if Maelstrom can actually execute on their comps. Note, Sofian doesn't have flash here, and neither does Dracian. 2 targets that are very, very squishy early in the game. So if they can get this Nocturne Nico composition and this Wombo combo off on either of those 2 guys, they should be dead to rights. And I think they're going to go opt in for that Syndra, because that flash just recently went down.
Bit of an item diff right now, as well as the Duckies have 3 completed items, but over on the other side, we see 2 pairs of Merc Treads along with Ionian Boots out of Joker Shadow. So the speed that you get, just the base speed, cannot be understated. Movement speed is one of the most OP things in League of Legends, so it'll be interesting to see how these fights play out. Scatter the Week going to go down as Joker Shadow. It's a fight on 2 fronts. He's going to try to dive and going to be able to get the job done. The arrow misses, but David will be able to knock him down as Joker Shadow regroups with his bot lane teammates.
Good scatter of the week from Sofian to stop the Wombo combo. They tried to make the play prior to Dragon so they can secure it, but Joker went a little too low here. 8 the unleashed power and a tower shot, so he can't really contest this Dragon. I'm Rubber Ducky. I would just pull this, but I think they're going to look to opt to defend mid lane. They don't want to give any more gold over to this Jinx.
Yeah, the good news is you can't give over any more plates because we are now at 14 minutes. Plate's going to fall off. And so far, so good for the side of Maelstrom, up about 700 gold. Going to be able to secure the Dragon here is Rubber Ducky Gaming. And it's only going to get harder in terms of fights. So we'll see if Maelstrom is able to start turning it around and interrupt the Dragon stacking in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, 24-minute Chemtech Soul is possible here. Much more valuable for Rubber Ducky Gaming.
Very good for Rubber.
Yeah, they have the Seraphine, they've got the Jarvan shield, they've also got the Cassante shield. There's actually a lot of good shielding and healing on the side of Rubber Ducky Gaming here. Where you look on the side of Maelstrom, not too much, right? They've got a couple things here and there, but you want to try to prevent that Chemtech Soul simply because your comp relies on Jinx doing a ton of damage. If you make it that much harder to kill people, to end people, right, to get those resets because of what Chemtech Soul does, giving you that 11% damage reduction when you're below 50% health, yeah, it's tough. I don't think Maelstrom wants to give this Chemtech Soul over. They can probably opt in to give third Dragon if they don't have the positioning, but this team fight Wombo combo composition needs to show up on some of these objectives. They get the Herald, they're going to give this gold over to Dank Memester. First turret of the game should go down here. Let's see if they can get a second charge, though.
Yeah, it looks like they should be able to, as it'll have 25 HP. Somebody hop in the robot, Shinji. It's toast to toast. We'll see if he realizes, hey, this is 25 HP. I can stop it. Nice job there of interrupting it. The all out as well. And a couple turret shots down. Meanwhile, Sofian was able to get a kill on the bottom side. They invested 4 members, and toast to toast doing what they can to prevent any further damage on the top side. And the teleport coming mid lane to answer Shameful as well does mean that the bottom lane turret of Maelstrom is sacrificed, so a trade across the map should be.
Yeah, nice cross map from Rubber Ducky Gaming here, overloading the bot side, getting the kill onto Pops, who's catching that wave there. Yeah, you lose top tier 1 and you lose first turret, but you trade bottom tier 1 here and you get a kill. So pretty much even trade in gold, ironically enough. So really well played from both of these teams. Maelstrom, Esports, and Rubber Ducky Gaming trading blow for blow. It feels like this game is going to burst wide open when one of these guys lands their big wombos, right? And I feel like Maelstrom is going to be able to do it. Dragon coming up in 3 minutes. There is an opportunity for this Nocturne to get 2 ultimates off, right? One before the dragon spawns and one when the dragon is about to spawn here. That's about the cooldown of this Nocturne ultimate once it hits rank 2 here. So I want to see them try to make a play, force something. Don't just save it for this dragon. Use it before, burn a flash, get something crucial out of this Rubber Ducky squad. You don't want to fight these guys when they all have their flashes up, because then your wombo gets significantly worse.
Yeah, the Jinx egg timer is still ticking, right? And you see the CS, you know, almost at 10 a minute. You can see that they're well on their way to the second item. If Rubber Ducky Gaming does not force the issue soon, they will have some problems. The good news is a couple of ultimates up, most notably the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, as they walk in to try to take this turret, but they don't have any backup here. They decide that they want to go answer the Renekton up top. Shibby, I really don't understand that. It felt like they had 4 members strong. They could have really put a lot of investment into that mid turret to take it out and not given too much up on the sides.
Yeah, I think they just fear this Renekton getting really big, hitting that 2-item point that we're so typical of seeing him, and they're just kind of running through the team, right? He becomes a tank and a damage dealer at the same time once he hits those 2 items. Although David has snuck in. Look at Renekton. He's already coming into this mid lane. Push that top wave out, and so he's like, all right, I'm going to fancy a roam and see if I can catch somebody out. If I can't, I'm just going to go back to top and dutifully farm my wave. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what Maelstrom's doing. Although I do want to kind of see them force a play on side, right? Nico should be matching Syndra. Nocturne should be hovering with the ultimate, and you should be looking for those kills. Rinse, repeat, right? Getting the flash out, trying to find something. I don't feel super comfortable just giving Syndra wave upon wave upon wave and letting her get to the point where she's just going to one-shot your backline.
I don't know, Shibby. I think this is actually pretty favorable for Maelstrom. You just allow your Jinx more time to scale up. Rubber Ducky Gaming doing in the top lane what I thought they would do in the mid lane, indexing a lot of members over, taking that turret, splitting the gold amongst themselves. A nice move there. Not exactly where I expected it, but did get the job done. And, you know, getting an answer in the bot lane, they're just not allowing Maelstrom to really get too much on the map. Outside of that top lane, it's been difficult for them.
Yeah, I really like how Rubber Ducky have been kind of playing the map and moving around, right? It seems, like you said earlier on, they have a very strong sense of what they want to do and how they want to play. And these players all moving together in unison. Oh, we're going to overload top side. We're going to get the turret here because they can't be top, all of them, right? Oh, we're going to play for this dragon. We're going to swap our bottom lane to the top side, get the wave in, and then we're going to make sure our top laner, Cassante, is at this dragon so we can secure it. Yeah, he drops a couple waves, but it's Cassante. He's going to be a tank. He's going to do what he wants to. It's just, have they given up too much accessory gold across the map to the Renekton, to the Jinx, like you mentioned, right? Allowing some of these champions to farm up a ton of items or a ton of gold and buy some of these items that will impact these fights and get the fight going.
And a big engage goes onto the Seraphine, but the Charm's going to land onto 2. Nearsighted, can't really see what's going on, but a knockup from David. Now the rest of the fight will start from here. Duck on about half HP. Toast to Toast is here. Sophie and trying to blow up Shameful, but Shameful lives. Up Blossom hits 4 members. Pops them. And David and Toast to Toast and Nina trying to find a way to turn this one around. The all-out is there, but that just means you're not tanky enough anymore as Cassante, as David wants to find an angle back in. And it's a 5v3. Sophie and pretty healthy, but without a flash. It means that Maelstrom Esports will be able to interrupt the dragon stacking and will be able to take their first Chemtech Drake of the game.
big ultimate coming out from Pops there. You saw that the Nocturne ultimate was committed very early on. You would think the the Nico ultimate would come out, but instead saves it, gets a really big 4-man ultimate. Sophian was on the side, almost bursted out Shameful, right? Almost had enough damage, but unfortunately just couldn't cut it there. Was not at that item threshold. Very, very well played from Maelstrom Esports, and you know, wasn't a wombo combo necessarily, but just that's what Pops can do, right? If you're not keeping track of, if you're not paying attention, he can just combo pretty much your whole team and set up the bricks of success, right, for the rest of your team. Shameful picking up 2 kills, very well played. Now, Pops, there's no way I just caster cursed him like that. God damn it.
This is the dangers of going up against a pick comp, Chibi, as Rubber Ducky Gaming goes, takes the life of the Nico, takes the turret. You can see some pings near the Baron area. A lot of wards I'm sure they want to clear out, but I like that they're immediately like, let's establish this vision, clear out what they have, take what's ours, despite losing that last fight pretty handedly.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to bounce back and make that play onto mid lane. I don't know if they knew it was Nico or if they thought it was the Jinx. Either way, like I said, not super high mobility on this Nico. David comes in, uses the Cataclysm, traps him in regardless. I don't know if they'll be able to make a play for this Baron, as we do see Sophian might get killed here.
Oh, I like that Scatter the Weak attempt there. Can he get out of range? He is fleeing, and a super mega death rocket from downtown. But here come 3 members over the top, and Duck is off to the side and is able to free hit. Big stun coming out from the Rel, but there is the encore landing on all 3 members. Dank Memester is close to going down. David is chasing down the Nocturne. Can he catch him? Joker's Shadow has no flash. It's a big shutdown, and Rubber Ducky Gaming immediately turning on that Baron.
Yeah, overcommitment on that top side. Yeah, you get the Jinx rocket in for the damage, but unfortunately your mid laner was down, doesn't have TP. Jinx unable to really join that fight, so they're just going to try to get as much gold on the map as they can. They know Baron's going down, so I mean, I don't hate this play from Maelstrom, but that previous one, just a big overcommitment onto the Syndra. Without having a lot of your damage ready, like Joker by himself just cannot burst the Syndra out. Needs the Renekton, needs something like a Jinx rocket landing or a Nico with him there. Nice counterpunch from Rubber Ducky Gaming, which is what we talked about, right? Once Maelstrom commits all their resources, commits all the juice, what else do they have? Rubber Ducky Gaming have such a good counterpunch. Like you said, that ultimate from the Seraphine landing sets up everybody, and eventually this Ashe, despite only having Kraken Slayer and PD, despite being not like a hard carry champion, enough auto attacks is going to break anybody's back.
Sophian also got the Baron, so I'm sure is typing worth in all chat right now, as Rubber Ducky Gaming have opened up about a 600 gold lead. Chibi, this game, 23 minutes in, has been pretty damn near even. I like what both teams have been doing, but again, we're just in the shameful waiting room, it feels like. 2-0-1, 2 big ticket items, 220 CS cleanse going to be up for this next fight, but no flash. Rubber Ducky Gaming, I don't think they want to take a fight right now. They've been doing such a good job with odd-numbered fights and map play that they should be able to utilize this Baron pretty strongly.
Yeah, right. Overloading, right? On the other side of the map here. Very, very smart from them. That should just net them just tier 2. I don't know about this TP.
Oh, we're going to go dark here. They're going to go all the way in on Joker's Shadow. He's going to get blown up, and the Charm's going to land on the tomb. Super Mega Death Rocket does a lot for the flash away from the Seraphine. Is falling asleep, is stuck, and he can't get in. Double knockup from Pops, and it did stun the Cassandre coming out the TP, and now Shameful needs to do something here. He finally gets to the fight, but it's once again a 5v3. Rubber Ducky Gaming is just a little too resilient right now.
And I'm not sure what the call was there, whether it was his team telling Joker to go in or this Joker was going in, because you need your setup, you need your Jinx in position, either on a flank or a wraparound. You turn the lights off. You cannot go there by yourself because you'll get blown up immediately. And we saw this lackluster Nico ultimate. It requires both of them to be in sync to execute this. Oh, now Jinx
David
gets
goes
one
down.
reset.
Shameful does get the Jinx speed, but nothing more. Pops does have a teleport available if they want to take it. Doesn't look like that'll be the case. Rubber Ducky Gaming, they are backing all the way off. This Dragon is going to be up in about 20 seconds. So this could mean that Maelstrom would be able to get a second Chemtech Dragon, which again, is pretty valuable for some of their members. Specifically, this Nocturne would really like it now because of a second completed item.
Yeah, Nocturne, Rel can take use of it, right? your Nectin as well, I believe. He gets increased healing from his ultimate, or his shield ultimate. There's a couple things here and there that you could really do, but realistically...
Incidental stuff.
Yeah, incidental stuff like you mentioned. Just a good takeaway, if anything. And
It's a good
you know,
response.
this is something that we talk about a lot, like at this level. Teams forcing the extension of the play, right? Rubber Ducky Gaming got a very good, 2 for 0, right? They didn't lose anybody. They got bot lane tier 2. They opted in to extend that play into mid lane tier 2 instead of backing off, setting up their vision for the dragon that was coming up in about 30 seconds and just taking that. They look for that extension, they get punished, and they give that over. You mentioned tier 2 in the top side going down. Very good answer, but they could have taken the dragon and the mid lane tier 2 and the top lane tier 2 at different points, right? They tried to extend the play and they got punished here, which is something I think a lot of the better teams and higher level teams that we get as we get into like higher level games, right? O2s and stuff like that, those guys understand it. Not extending the play, resetting when necessary, and just pushing that lead. Rubber Ducky Gaming, unfortunately, a baby throw here, but they get a solid, 3,000 gold lead here that they're holding on to, but it seems kind of fake given that Maelstrom Esports is just banking on this Jinx getting the 3 items, and once that wombo combo hits, that 3,000 gold isn't going to really surmount to anything, right? It's not a bunch of resistance, it's not a bunch of health, it's just more damage on the side of RDG.
No, Shimmy, I'm going to disagree with you. I think that them overextending and losing 1 and also giving up the dragon, but making sure that sequence, they got 3 inner turrets, was actually quite good. And the reason why is because I don't think you're... Well, no, even if that's intentional, they're just like, hey, we're going to get this turret where if we sacrifice a body, we sacrifice the dragon. You get that mid-inner turret, you get that extra gold. You're not necessarily playing for dragon stacking anymore, and that's okay. You're trading that dragon stacking for a big influx of gold against the champion like the Jinx, who is now 3-0-1 and is CSing like a monster. I think that's actually good that they gave up the dragon there, because that allowed them to take their turn on the top inner turret and not give up anything.
I think my only nitpick is they could have done that. It just would have been a little bit delayed. They didn't have to give the body.
Got to use your Baron.
Yeah, that's true. I can't argue with that.
It was a great Baron, by the way, by Rubber Ducky Gaming. It was really fantastic. One of the better ones I've seen in this league, and you know what? I'm pleasantly surprised with the macro play of both of these teams. I think they're playing quite well. Scout of the Week not going to land this. It looks like Rubber Ducky's trying to force here. Dank Memester on the side. The lights are getting turned out, and nobody is home. There are some knockups. There's an ultimate coming up, and it whips, and here comes Pops! Flying in. Shameful dies on the backside as Sophian will be able to sneak out the back. But now it's 2 members here. Jarvan going to drop the ultimate down. Toast can't get in. And David's going to try to get away. He's going to flag and drag over to his teammate. But Joker Shadow is so damn healthy. Cassante is going to go in to try to stop him. This is a fight that it doesn't look like you're going to win. Joker Shadow will retreat. It ends up being a 2-for-1 when all said and done in favor of Maelstrom.
Yeah. The thing with Maelstrom is they do get the better of that fight, but you kind of saw what happened. Their damage kind of dropped drastically once the Jinx went down, right? Once Pops used his rotation of spells, champions like the Jarvan, champions like the Cassante weren't in any real danger in death because they couldn't get chased down by the Nocturne. Nocturne, if he would have chased, probably would have died here. But that 2-for-1 allows them to start this dragon. They do take the Baron even without the Jinx. They take it somewhat.
It's pretty slow.
Okay. It's not like super fast, don't get me wrong, but I think if they sticked it, they probably would have died here just because Toast is here.
Pop's doing a great job there of the bait. So the flash is down for Toast, but the Baron has been started up by the side of Rubber Ducky Gaming. You give them a second Baron, it could be problematic. Paranoia not quite up yet. Down to about 4,000 HP. We'll see if Joker Shadow is able to find a way in. Scout of the Week does land. 2,000, lower, 1,000, smited away, secured by Rubber Ducky and off on the side. They're going to target out Sophian. Sophian's gone golden, and they're going to go down, and they're not going to be able to trade Joker Shadow back. Once again, Sophian's life for the Baron for the side of Rubber Ducky.
Yeah, another situation where another team, Maelstrom Esports, they get that fight win. Instead of resetting, cashing the gold in their pockets, they try to tempt this Baron potentially, when in reality, if they just reset right off rip after winning that fight, shoving the waves, they would have been able to kind of get back onto that Baron, get some vision down onto the dragon. Instead, they all back within vision of RDG. RDG then was like, okay, we're going to take the Baron. There's no way you can answer this. So really well played from Rubber Ducky Gaming to recognize their the Maelstrom's move is over, but Maelstrom easily could have just backed after pushing those waves in after that fight win and potentially contested this Baron. So they gave that away
Comes Rel.
virtually for free.
Oh, falling asleep. Looked like they potentially fell asleep there. Did not want to go for it. Sophian is up, no flash, no teleport, so it's still a 5v4 for a little bit. I'm surprised Maelstrom is not pulling the trigger right now. The Paranoia is down, so they don't have a way in. Sophian is going to take the wave off on the side. RDG going to look to try and find a way, and falling asleep is finally there. There's the Magnet Storm landing on the floor. Pop Blossom, but he's knocked away. Encore lands on the many, as Shameful is in the back of the fight looking to be okay, but he's a little far away. Pops off on the side. He's got a gold, and his Dank Memester goes down. Pops gets popped, and Shameful doesn't do any damage, can't do anything. The rest of his team is falling. He's retreating, but he gets knocked up, and Rubber Ducky are able to smack Maelstrom Esports. And with this Baron up, Shibby, I think this could be game.
Yeah, I mean, just an insane kind of sequence of events here. Maelstrom Esports, they try to force the engage, but the big body of Toasted Toast ends up blocking out the Pop Blossom from Pops here, right? Nico gets absolutely stuffed, gets shoved back into the team, and lands a one-man Nico wall. So Fallen Asleep, unfortunately, is there, Magnet Storming 3 people, but the rest of his team isn't able to follow up. And this game ends off of one botched team fight from Maelstrom Esports here, kind of forcing the issue. They had the inside track on the Dragon. They could have potentially waited for Rubber Ducky to kind of walk in, but instead they forced the issue. Support saw an angle, but unfortunately Nico just not in the right position. I feel like that's because it was kind of the story of the game, right? The fights hinged on whether this Nico was hitting 4-man ultimates or 1-man ultimates, and unfortunately they rolled a 1-man ultimate. They end up paying with the Nexus here. Maelstrom Esports dropping to Rubber Ducky Gaming 1-0 right now. This is a best of 3, so RDG do have an opportunity to take this 2-0, or we might see a baby reverse sweep coming out from Maelstrom Esports here. But Yanni, did you like, it seemed like you really liked what both teams were bringing and putting on the table here.
No, I really did. I thought both teams actually played quite well. I don't know if that's just because I've been watching a lot of League of Legends or playing a lot of gold solo queue. But I actually think that what they did mirrored a lot of what some really good teams do. Obviously, there's a lot that they had to clean up. There's a lot of good concepts executed here that really, you can tell, it put a big smile on my face. You don't really get to see these kind of things happen at this level. In Masters, that's where like the teams who have semblance of macro do really well, and the teams that do not just cannot hands check people anymore. But I thought both of these teams actually did a pretty good job. And I really like that last fight out of Maelstrom Esports. I think they had some earlier angles to go in on and waited a little bit too long, but they waited for the Paranoia to come up. Sophian wasn't there. He just did a great job of making sure that Pops was not able to get in the fight. Toasted Toast with a huge ultimate to keep him away, knowing that if I keep him away from my team, this rel engagement isn't going to matter.
Yeah, and a lot of that damage also hinged on Shameful being in range, which he just wasn't, right? A lot of the fights he was zoned out.
Felt like he zoned himself that last fight.
I mean, Sophian was on the side, right? It's one of those things where, like, if he commits too far deep, Sophian can just hit a nice scatter of the week. I think this Syndra did a very good job of keeping Jinx in check, and I think that's what that's the only thing you can ask for, right, out of this Syndra here. Like, works similar to an Azir, where you have a lot of long range, you can threaten the scoop, you can threaten the ultimate, you can threaten a lot of damage. Shameful just not really able to participate in a lot of these fights, unfortunately. You can tell by the damage numbers, right? 12k damage for a 3-item Jinx ADC at like 30 minutes in the game is not what you want to see out of your ADC, and unfortunately, they just didn't have the front line available. It was a dive composition. How different does this game look maybe if Shameful's on something like a Kai'Sa and is able to participate immediately, right? Like, that's one of those things you get. Maelstrom Esports is going to have to take a look at into the draft here. But Yanni, I mean, you know, I hope we see 2 more games of this. Like, I want to see 2 more games of good, clean macro play, some back and forth between these guys. Please don't let it devolve into what we typically
Please no. This wasn't just like, we're going to continue to fight each other and fight each other and fight each other. This was like, we're going to fight around our cooldowns. So, you know, hopefully we see more of that because Maelstrom Esports and Rubber Ducky Gaming certainly put on a show for that game 1. We're going to take a really short break, and when we return, we're going to find out if Maelstrom Esports has figured out that playing a non-utility AD carry is not the way to go. Rubber Ducky Gaming knew, and they certainly were able to execute. We're going to take a short break, and we will see you soon for the draft in Game 2.
君の言葉繰り返し寝ても全てもやまないそっけない君の笑顔が恋しくて星に願うのまた会えるよね
Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Otter Masters League here as we're into the draft here for Game 2 between Rubber Ducky Gaming and Maelstrom Esports. Shibby, we saw a pretty interesting Game 1 that, was, again, really well played by both sides. We'll see if they're able to do it again, and we'll see if Maelstrom is able to pull out some more stops, because we talked about how much we liked their composition, and it was difficult to execute. I think their execution wasn't terrible, but they just kind of got disrupted a little bit by the CC of Rubber Ducky Gaming.
Well, unfortunately, Annie, they can't run it back exactly the same because, for anybody that's tuning in, this is the first season of BOL Masters where we've got full Fearless. So those grayed out champions cannot be played by either team. So champions that are picked in the previous games or any game in this series cannot be played by either team. So no more Nocturne, Nico, no Syndra, Jarvan. We've still got Orianna on the table, and obviously the champions banned. You cannot play as well. So we're gonna see different stuff out of these guys. And Yanni, I want to talk about a point that you brought up a while ago, a couple weeks ago, where you talked about like these picks now having kind of some value, right? They have their own sort of inherent value of like, do you want to use these chips all together? Do you want to use the Nocturne Nico together? Do you want to burn that in game 1? And if you lose on it, what can you do? Do you want to save some of these champions? And I think Maelstrom Esports might end up, regretting comboing a lot of good, solid plug-and-play champions, right? Nocturne can be paired up with multiple guys. Nico can be paired up with multiple champions, right? Rel, these kind of big power picks. You've kind of lost all of them, so what do you default to? I feel like RDG didn't really give too much away with like Ashe, Seraphine, Syndra. There's still a lot of champions you can pick here.
What I find most interesting is that a priority AD carry on the patch had gotten burnt in the Ashe, and there were no AD carry bans outside of Kog'Maw here in this game too. I think you could have put Maelstrom in a position where you are first picking the relevant AD carry left, and you can ban away like a Kai'Sa and a Jhin, right? Now, it may go to show that the champions that they took out, like the Bel'Veth and the Yone, are scarier options for the side of Maelstrom, right? This Yone specifically, one of the stronger champions on the patch. So we'll see how that ends up shaking out. Maelstrom, they're going with the Kai'Sa, they're going with the Vi. Again, two really strong meta-based picks here. We're going to see an early Braum out of Rubber Ducky Gaming, which is a bit of a surprise, especially being paired with a Varus.
I don't hate it, right? It kind of stuffs out a lot of the sort of dive that Maelstrom's already concocting together, right? The Kai'Sa, the Vi, the Ahri, which is probably going to be paired up if Maelstrom Esports does like their bread and butter mid combos. The Yone ban is simply because Pop's it's his most played this season right now. And he's got like a pretty decent win rate with it, at least in solo queue. He's 16 games in, so I don't mind that. Also, the jungle ban obviously is for Joker, one of his most played as well, right? 18 games on the Bel'Veth here. Jarvan as well was a nice takeaway last game. So I like RDG doing their research and being like, hey, we don't actually care about like maybe the stronger picks on the patch. We care more about banning away some of the more comfort stuff. And it just so happens Yone is also strong and comfort here. I like this from RDG. Xin Zhao, one of the top junglers left right now on the table. I believe the Vi being taken as well. You have a really good job of, once this Vi goes in, you can immediately ult her out, or you can isolate her and, kind of negate a lot of the damage that's going to come in because of the way his ultimate functions onto your carry, right? If Varus gets ulted by the Vi, all Xin has to do is ult, and they can just turn on the Vi here. Really nice anti-dive coming out from RDG right now. Another well-crafted composition from Rubber Ducky Gaming.
And I wonder if we'll see a LeBlanc pulled out here for Rubber Ducky Gaming, because you and I talked about it in our own potential solo queue escapades later today. Xin Zhao LeBlanc, a really strong pairing. You look on the side of Maelstrom, not super tanky. Obviously, Rakan, support items, gets a little tanky. Vi later on does, but not what I would call super tanks. Champions, you can pretty easily burst out. And if a Vi wants to tag you with her ultimate, well, you just W back, and all of a sudden, she's in the middle of your team, But a couple of other bans going away. Orianna, I think that was a good ban out of Maelstrom. I would have loved to see a Xin Zhao Orianna if it was available. Once again, this Silas is going to be taken away. So Rubber Ducky Gaming really making sure that they are going to pick a power ultimate that you cannot steal.
Interestingly enough, a champion that's been left on the board both games now, the Aurora. A champion that we see typically, or at least famously, paired up with the Nocturne and the Ahri, right? That topside, that legendary topside that we've been seeing out of Gen G and Gam today. But Maelstrom Esports, locking in the Ari Vi bread and butter combo. Ari Vi Kaisa is like the prototypical dive composition. G2 ran it today, and they ran it very, very well. I love that from them. And just like anti-dive, what is a champion that was recently released? Vex, one of those champions that can really put a hamper onto Maelstrom Esports composition here. Is Vex Jinx a really good combo? Vex Zin a really good combo? Not necessarily, but the ability to just kind of catch this dive again coming out from RDG. They did it in game one. They had the Cassante there. Who's going to be their big burly frontline tank this time around? Ornn, Scion, Malphite. You've got some options here. I feel like you can just lock in any tank here and it'll be good enough, but you can't just have Braum solo tanking this composition from Maelstrom Esports.
Yeah, now my question is this going to be a Quid Vex or is this going to be a Chad Vex? Because you know, this pick is fantastic for what Maelstrom has put together here. You are going to be able to stuff a lot of these champions in some very key moments in like these choke points. So I am curious to see how that pans out. We'll see the Jax come in. One of the best blindable top laners. Seems like he's really taken the, been kind of overshadowed by Renekton recently. But still a very good blind option. And Dr. Mundo on the other side here. You know, Shibby, I have to say, I feel like Maelstrom's damage, once again, this time around, might not be there. Kaisa is going to have to do a lot of this heavy lifting, so they're going to put the ball in the court of Shameful once again.
Yeah, and I like this Jax, or this Mundo pick into the Jax specifically. Mundo does really well into champions that have one form of CC in their kit, right? Jax Counter-Strike, one form of CC. Mundo does a really good job of negating that with his passive here. So has a pretty solid laning phase into the Jax. Obviously, Jax eventually will win out, can build stuff like the Bork, can push you in, can shove you in. But Dr. Mundo's here just be that front line, right? Dive in with the Vi, dive in with the Kaisa, the Rakan, the Ari. He's going to run in. He doesn't have any like inherent movement abilities, right? He's not going to dash. He's going to press ult and just run into your team, and it doesn't matter. He's not going to take a lot of damage here. Like you said, Varus is most likely going to be the on-hit variation with the lethal tempo. A lot of the heavy lifting is also on the side of RDG's AD carry here. Jax, if he's allowed to participate in these team fights, can get a lot of damage off, but both AD carries going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Maelstrom's composition is pretty nasty, though. I feel like this Varus is going to heavily rely on his team doing a lot of the peeling for him. Doesn't really have the ability to do self-peel, right? No dashes, nothing like that. Has to flash away, potentially might rock the ghost here. But I don't know. It's tough. RDG, they were able to execute it in game one very well. Different tools, different champions. Let's see if they can do it 2 times in a row against another dive composition from Maelstrom Esports.
Yeah, I think the big issue here is that, while these are good blinds, the Varus is a good blind into not knowing what's going on. The Jax is a really good blind, into your individual top lane, right? In just lane for lane. It's difficult for this Varus and this Jax to play this game, I think. It's going to be really tough for the Jax to get on to Maelstrom if RDG is playing aggressively. But if Maelstrom are the ones causing the pressure, these Jax flanks could be huge after Rakan's already jumped in, after Kaisa has maybe used her ultimate to get into the fight, after Vi has gotten into the fight. So it's kind of like a push and pull. If RDG is ahead, they're not going to be able to take advantage of the Jax as much. But if Maelstrom is ahead, then, Jax can potentially equalize some of these fights with some big counter strikes on members of Maelstrom who can no longer exit the fight. So it's going to be a little weird here, and I am interested to see how the lane really also pans out, because Dr. Mundo is one of those champions that can actually just run you over sometimes.
Yeah, it's scary because if he gets ahead, right? Like, what does RDG do, right? How do they fight in these fights, in these team fights, right? Around Dragon, around some of these different kind of objectives here. Because if he gets 3 items, Mundo's gonna hit a point where he just kind of runs you over.
Yeah,
right?
and he just won't die either. Like,
yeah. I don't think Varus is enough, even if it is gonna be that on-hit variation with the Bork, with the Ginsus, right? That kind of build. You don't have any follow damage. He's got to be perma hitting Mundo, and if he's perma hitting Mundo, Maelstrom Esports is like, okay, fine, your AD carry is going to hit our tank. We're going to take out the rest of your team, who's not that tanky, right? Jax needs to land his ultimate. Braum is one of those champions that needs a little bit more gold, right? Has a lot of innate tankiness in their kit, but isn't really going to be building a whole ton of armor and HP necessarily because he just doesn't have the gold income, right? Heavily relying on this Jink or on this Xin Zhao and on this Vex here to really stuff out some of this dive coming out from Maelstrom Esports. It's not as easy as like pressing a button on Poppy, right, with the W. It's not as easy as it was last game for, the Cassandra to kind of just get in front of the Nico. It's a lot different. This dive can come from multiple angles as well, which is what I want to see Maelstrom Esports do. Ari on one side, Vi flanking in on the other, Kaisa killer instincting in onto the Varus. This composition does work, and we have seen it execute at the highest level. Let's see if Maelstrom Esports can do it over here in BOL Masters.
Yeah, their comp was a little difficult to execute in the first game. They were not able to get the job done despite the fact that they hung tough. And this time around, they are going to spare no expense. Rubber Ducky Gaming gonna need to protect this Varus, gonna need to get this Jax online. We'll see what the Xin Zhao can do in the jungle against the Vi. The teams are in spectator delay, so we will take a short break, and when we return, it could be the last game of the series. Rubber Ducky Gaming looking to put this one away. Maelstrom looking to force a game 3. We'll see you soon. Alrighty, everybody, we are on Summoner's Rift for once again what could be the final game of this best of 3. Rubber Ducky Gaming on the blue side, Maelstrom on the red side this time around. Once again, a bit of a line of scrimmage. Shibi, we saw these teams establish some vision early on in game 1, and the result was the Jarvan really wasn't able to make an impact, and it just allowed Joker Shadow on the Nocturne to farm up and hit level 6. These junglers that we have are a little similar. Once again, Joker Shadow, really waiting to get to level 6. Obviously can make some ganks happen before then, but this Xin Zhao, David, looking to leverage his early game strength.
Yeah, definitely somebody that can make it happen in the early game. Has some good setup in that top side as well as bot side as well, right? Braum is always nice to have. I do like the summer spell choice coming out from RDG. Heal and barrier coming out here. Understanding that the only way they lose this lane is if they just die, right? Like they can't realistically, get get killed if they don't get super aggressive. And this Varus on the lethal tempo version of this champion is going to just like scale super hard with more on hit. Thing is though, this Vex Xin Zhao is very hard to execute, right? Like I feel like this 2v2 is not the greatest. Granted, the individual lane matchup, right? Vex into Ahri is very nice for the Vex. But like you said, Joker, Shadow, and Pops, once they hit level 6, I'm sure they're going to draw a beat onto Sophian. And it's whether Sophian can kind of play knowing that timer is coming, right? Playing around that, and whether David's there to respond. Because the counterpunch, like I said, Xin Zhao Ultimate, very, very good at getting your team to safety and really negating a lot of damage that should come out from this Vi Ahri composition. One thing to keep in the back of the mind, folks, is this Mundo. Whether he's ahead or whether he's behind can be crucial for Maelstrom Esports composition.
Shameful's been tagged, so this could be trouble. Stunned up, forced to cleanse away as Duck continues to rifle away. Does have the W and the E available, so those extra auto attacks doing a little bit more damage. Doesn't have the arrow up quite yet. We're taking a look as the junglers really on the pretty much the same timer you can see on your mini map. The ping's going out from Maelstrom that like, hey, Xin Zhao is going to be on his chickens right now. They've spotted him out on that ward, so that's something to certainly watch out for. As you know, it does appear that Duck and Dracian are pushing this wave in. So Joker Shadow may feel inclined to pay a visit. Oh wait,
Ooh,
Pops is
Sophie
Pops.
in?
Oh, not even close. But we saw
Yeah.
this again. We saw this in game one that Sophian
Yeah.
just was getting the better of Pops in lane.
Yeah, massive deja vu, right? The Syndra into Nico. Luckily, Pop's able to back out, but he's going to have to burn that TP early, giving Sophian a nice little free cheater recall here. Toast to Toast, though, was getting beat down, right, by Dank Beamster when he was on the Recton into the Cassante matchup. Let's see if he can fare a little bit better into this Mundo. Let's see if Toast to Toast is going to be able to get that recall off. Wave's going to reset in here, and if he TPs, I don't know if he's going to opt to TP or if he's just going to walk back. He's going to burn that TP, or Meemster should know. So TP's being burned early on both sides of the teams here. Mid laner for Maelstrom Esports and RDG. Their top laner once again having to burn that TP. Let's see if David can get something done here. This early game should favor RDG, right? They've got Xin Zhao, they've got Vex. But if Joker Shadow is allowed to hit level 6, they can make some plays on the map.
Yeah, and I really like the double TP coming out from the solo laners, mostly because Joker Shadow had pinged that he wanted to go up on that top side. So Toast to Toast and Sophian are like, hey, maybe you can go and get this crab, but given the fact that Joker Shadow had no response, David was like, you know what, I'm just not going to even go for it. We'll split it. So I like the fact that, RDG at least tried to pressure that. But right now on this bottom side, I mean, because Joker Shadow took that back and headed straight to top side, there is no bailout for Shameful and Fallen Asleep. Help is not coming. This is a 22 CS lead and growing right now. Obviously, a big wave is going to come in for Shameful to try to pick up, but that's kind of hard when you're on a Kai'Sa with just a Doran's Blade. You can easily miss some of these. It's Toast to Toast taking it to Dank Meemster this time around.
Yeah, and that's that item advantage, right? Toast to Toast was able to shove the wave in, burn the TP early, and just use that longsword, use those extra resources that he garnered with that back here. Dank Beamster on a comfortable enough buy. I don't know if the Crystalline Bracer is going to be enough, though. Usually you want to back with the Giant's Belt in hand, just didn't have that 900 gold available. Not sure if Dank Beamster is going to have the health to kind of duke it out with Toasted here, but if he lands more of these briefcases, could be tough.
Yeah, his time up here could be brief as Toast to Toast is now all of a sudden in trouble and getting run down. He dropped the ward down to try to jump to it perhaps, but he'll finally wait till he gets to minions. And he'll be able to find a way out without burning any summoners. Bottom side of the map, Maelstrom going to be able to secure this first dragon with little resistance from David, who has yet to make an impact on this game.
Yeah, the Xin Zhao is just opting into farm. Not sure if I necessarily agree with it, but realistically, you've got Varus, you've got Jax, you've got some solid late game pieces here that you could kind of hang your hat on and rely a little bit on. Giving that dragon away, though, is tough. Let's see if they're going to move their bot lane here. RDG, they did a sort of like pseudo lane swap last game. Maybe they were tuned in because they're swapping right when the grubs come in, which is what I wanted to see from them last time.
Yeah, they're going to have Duck move all the way down here, so Dracian is going to be able to get up there, help out David, and I like how strong their strong side is right now. Joker Shadow, see how close he's going to be to level 6? It looks like he just took out the Gromp and didn't get it We are seeing Pops shade down, but it will head back mid, so they know that it's just Duck all alone. He's level 5, he's got flash, he's got barrier, and I like the fact that he's shading back here, because I think he wins this 1v1 against Vi, especially this early on with nobody else helping him out. Look at him stack the W's and Joker Shadow getting poked all the way out. Duck has decided he's going to look to stand and fight here. Dracian is on the way back, though, to help him out. Duck, he's got to make a move. He waits all the way. Flash is there. Dracian trying to get there to help his boy out. The shields are there. Joker Shadow flash forward. The barrier's there, and they're going to be able to get a kill. Duck is one auto away from death. He hops to his buddy, but he can't save him. But Vex from the backside as Shameful goes down. Falling asleep, linking up with Pops. But Sophian can go back in with the ultimate again. He's going to tag the Rakan. The Rakan trying to get away, but Pops is now slowed up, and the auto attack's got to come out. Pops has to try to get over the wall, but the stun goes down. Will be able to get over despite fleeing, and Sophian going to flash after him, but is not going to be able to tag Falling Asleep. They're so low, the flash is there. The charm is missed. Sophian is slow, but is not fast enough and forces a flash out of Pops. A chaotic fight, but Rubber Ducky Gaming, just their map movements, they're too strong. They're so much better.
Oh, Duck having the cojones to stay bot side in a 1v3 situation and be like, even if I give my life, my team will be able to redeem it here. Gets the first blood onto Joker Shadow, and then Sophian comes to clean up the rest here. Shameful did get that return kill, so it's not as even. It's not as even as it might have been, but Duck just having that extra recurve bow over Shameful here on this Varus, who's already been dominating this laning phase, right? 2 turret plates have gone down, giving that first blood gold over as well. I like the look from Maelstrom Esports. They had the ability to try to dive here. They just weren't sure. They weren't keeping track of where Sophian was. They weren't expecting Sophian to be down there so quickly. Out roaming the Ahri, a very rare occurrence we see at this level.
Yeah, and a lot of it had to do with Joker Shadow walking up very aggressively. Wasn't really expecting Duck to be there. Didn't have him on his radar. Because in a straight 1v1 with your team not being able to help you, the Varus is going to win that with both members being at level 5. And once that chunk happened, you know, they should have just called that play off, I think. And you know, they did pay for it. Sometimes you don't think that the teams are going to rotate, but in competitive 5v5 play, people play a little differently. Now, Joker Shadow is here, is now level 6. Fallen Asleep is still level 5. Don't know how close he is to 6, but it looks like Vi getting ready to go in is going to target the Varus here. Double knockup lands. Ultimate from Duck, and he's able to get some space, but Shameful is able to get onto the backside, and it's now a 3v2. Shameful going to be the target as David trying to leverage that early game strength we talked about. The charm's there, and it's now a 2v2 as Joker Shadow got to try to get out. Another knockup by Fallen Asleep, but David is not letting go of Joker Shadow, consistently getting to him, and it's a double kill for the Braum. The support coming up huge.
Not sure if that's where I would like all my gold allocated into, but a nice 2-for-1 regardless, trading those kills back. David a little late, but Joker Shadow doing a good job of just isolating Duck out. And you see the power of this dive composition. It's just, can they kill their target fast enough before the counterpunch comes in from RDG? That's going to be the name of the game here. And it'll be a lot tougher once a couple more HP items come in, once Braum picks up stuff like potentially the Locket of the Iron Solari, Knight's Vow, those kind of items to protect Duck here. I don't know if Duck had barrier during that fight. I didn't get to catch it, but if he did, unfortunately, he probably could have used it. Probably would have allowed him to live a little bit longer and maybe potentially get out of that fight and turn that into a 2-for-0. But well played from RDG, just answering everything Maelstrom's doing, and a 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes. Game 1, it was neck and neck up until 25.
Yeah, RDG doing a really good job, and I think one of the big issues here on the side of Maelstrom, Pops has been a non-factor. He's got 82 CS. That's it. He hasn't done much else. Hasn't assisted on any kills or anything like that. You know, obviously had that one scrap near the bottom lane, couldn't get anything out of it. So this Vi Ahri hasn't done much, but now they're going to look to make a play here. Charm does land. Good hold there. Sophian trying to get away. The dashes are in. Oh, the turnaround out of Sophian is insane. And Rubber Ducky Gaming going crazy. There's no way Sophian goes back into this, right? Vi charging up the Vault Breaker will get away.
Oh, I thought he was going to go back in with that fear charge, but yeah, really nice turnaround from Sophian onto Pops. Without that Vi ultimate, right, you don't have that as much damage. The charm lands, but you don't have that little extra bit of damage to secure the kill onto Sophian. A good look from this Vi Ahri, just not executing as they're able to here. They're going to trade the dragon for 6 grubs here, and I don't know about giving 6 grubs over to Jax of all champions, right? The side lane pressure is going to be immense, and that's a win condition for them now, right? Just putting Jax inside and letting him push tier 2, tier 3 as they do look for a play onto Pops.
Classic Varus ultimate there, not quite landing on the target. The heal was burnt to try to get close to Pops here. 2 more auto attacks should pop him, but they're walking right into the arms of Joker Shadow and the rest of the squad. The charm is out, and this Braum is very dead. Shameful, able to pick up a kill.
Nice look from Joker, right? Just hiding in the bush, like, hey, there's only the RE here, and able to turn that around here. Good look from Maelstrom, but I feel like RDG, again, just trying to extend a play after they got the grubs. They're trying to look for this RE. And once that Varus ultimate doesn't hit, and you see like 2 members bot side of Maelstrom Esports, you kind of just have to give up on that push, right? And that's just a bit of an overchase from RDG. They get punished. A little bit of gold going back into the favor, especially into the Kaisa, right? Shameful, 3-2, poised to potentially carry this game as long as he stays safe and as long as he's able to blow up the targets that Joker Shadow, chooses to ulti here, whether it's the Varus or the Vex or whoever. A lot of upfront damage coming out potentially.
Could be another fight as they're engaging onto David. He is ignited. Might try to burn his flash here. Shameful trying to kite this one away. He does get knocked up. The tag going down. No, it looked like it missed, actually. The Sophian's ult didn't quite land. The charm out. It's a 4v3 for right now as Joker Shadow looking to rejoin with the team. So Summoner's burnt there. Flash down for Ignite in the trade. Zvi wants to find a way and is going to target Duck. Teleport coming in as well. Charm onto the Braum. Duck trying to get away and is able to for right now. He's forced to flash, but Pops is chasing him down. Dracian's going to be the first to fall as the rest of Rubber Ducky Gaming looks to run away. Sophian trying to use the CC. Pops coming in from the backside, but he's got no mana. The charm lands, and it is enough to take him out as the rest of the squad converges on Sophian, who's forced to flash away. But this means Toasted Toast, with 5 plates available in 6 grubs, is going to look to feast here.
Yeah, TP was burned from Dank Memester, no TP as well from Pop, so they're going to have to just run up to that top side here. Dragon, nothing to really fight over, and he's already gotten 3 plates for himself. Is he going to get the whole turret? Is he going to get breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert?
Brother, it said 5 plates on the minimap. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Oh, no, your eyes do not deceive you. Realize, but Toasted Toast absolutely makes mincemeat out of that turret almost instantly.
He looks like me at a Chinese buffet. 5 plates. That was actually ridiculous, and that's so much gold going into his pocket. He's up 500 gold despite this lane not really going great for him, and that's the trade-off that Maelstrom made. They opted in to go for 2 dragons instead of the grubs, and you allowed 6 grubs to go over to a Jax. Either of these top laners were going to be a menace depending on which one got more grubs, and it's Toasted Toast. So it's 1 win condition that Rubber Ducky Gaming has. Maelstrom Esports still a little behind in gold as teams are jockeying for position around the Rift Herald. David wants a piece of Joker Shadow here. Dank Memester is going to be the first one to get to the play as Jax is going to split push on the bottom side here as that Braum ult is down.
Yeah, and I thought Jax with that huge influx of gold would look to group, but I think they're just going to hyper-index on the fact that this guy's going to split push. He's going to get more gold. He's going to get 2-3 items. He might be able to pick up tier 2 in that bottom side. No TP available. Understand, Ari's top side, they're going to have to recall. If he doesn't get tier 2, he's definitely going to get a ton of damage on it. You burn a Glacial Fissure, but it's another set of solo gold going into this Jax. Toasted Toast is very far ahead. That 0-0-0 scoreline is the most deceitful scoreline I've ever seen.
Yeah, bro is really making the plays that you don't see on the stat sheet. That's I'm pretty sure that's the definition of it. Because things continuing to go pretty well for Rubber Ducky despite the fact that they're missing out on that Herald. The gold lead though hasn't gotten a lot wider. It was 2,000 a while ago, and it's still 2,000 right now. So Maelstrom Esports has done a good job of stemming the bleeding just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, getting objective control. Other than the grubs, they've had pretty good objective control, right? Both dragons, the Herald that can potentially be used to answer this Jax split push, right? Oh, if they leave Jax split pushing on the bottom side, they can overload top side with 5 members, drop that Herald, potentially take a tier 2. Instead, though, they're going to end up setting up for this drag. You look at Maelstrom Esports, a lot of them put in recalls prior to Dragon coming up. 15 seconds now. I don't know if RDG is actually ready. I don't even think they want to fight this. I think Toasted Toast is going to go, but look at Duck.
Oh, the cut off there. Duck goes down. teleport expended as well in the mid lane. They're going to drop the Rift Herald Chibi. They're going to also look to take the Dragon, I'm sure, after this. As Maelstrom Esports has found their opportunity to close the gold gap, taking out that mid turret. It's now just 1,000 gold. Hop's always wanting a little bit more, ever the greeter dog. Will he hop in the Herald, though, and try to drive it away? Look at Jax. Jax on the top side here, forcing Dank Memester to answer him while this Dragon is getting done. So it's down to about half HP. Eventually, he'll be met there. This will be soul point for Maelstrom Esports.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he just took it.
He takes the turret, and he's going to take the fight here. Burns the ultimate. No mana, though. Dank Memester could just chase him down.
Oh, it will hit one of the briefcases there. Toast to Toast trying to run away. He does not have another ward to jump to here. Counter-Strike is going to go out. He's going to land it, get slowed up. Duck trying to turn it around. Nice job landing the ultimate. A lot of stacks going out here, but Dank Memester going to pop the ultimate. He will run away. Not enough assistance there, so the Jax escape plan works.
The escape works, but a bit of a concerning thing we just saw. Varus pelted away at this Mundo for quite a long time, as the TP does come in from Jack. No ultimate available, flash, Counter-Strike.
Oh my god, Toast to Toast. Could find himself in a little bit of trouble here. He's trying to clear out this wave, trying to defend this turret. Help is on the way, but he's down to about half HP and getting lower. Charm coming out on the side onto the Xin Zhao's. Joker Shadow trying to exit here, but now falling asleep and Shameful are in big trouble. They don't have a turret. Teleport. They do not care about the Mundo. Charm's going down. Knockwas, but here comes the Vex in the middle of the fight. Dank Memester is getting rifled down on his Joker Shadow, looking for more. Shameful forced to flash away. Toast to Toast is low. He flashes back to his team. They're trying to save him, trying to help him. He's able to get away for right now. Shameful very low, but Sophian does a lot to Dank Memester, who has to flash. Joker Shadow very healthy, but they managed to kill the Vial on the backside as Duck continues to charge. The slow is out, and they're not going to get more as Rubber Ducky Gaming take the fight in a 2-for-1.
Well played from them, even with their Jax being at half HP. You saw the target focus, the collapse coming out from RDG. Sophian burning that ultimate with the Xin Zhao. We talked about how this 2v2 is kind of hard to execute in the laning phase, but man, is it disruptive in these team fights, right? Who do you deal with? The Xin Zhao diving your back line? The Vex diving your AD carry? Oh wait, Duck is rifling away with lethal tempo as well. There's a lot of threats on RDG side, and Maelstrom Esports just doesn't know who to focus. The Vi ultimate went onto the Vex. Ari was diving Duck. There was no coordination, and that's what allowed RDG to kind of take advantage of the chaos that they created, and Maelstrom Esports just not keeping, for lack of a better word, their ducks in a row.
And Dr. Mundo not in that unkillable mode yet, Chibi. We saw in that fight, took a hell of a lot of damage from Sophian, because look at what he's got. Obviously, he got the Warmogs, but it's all health, right? He just built a tunneler. He's got no magic resistance, really, and that's something to look out for here, because that means that Dank Memester is still very killable in these fights. Once he gets the unkillable state, then it'll be a problem that Maelstrom, RDG can't deal with. That could happen a lot sooner than you'd think, though. 2 minutes until this dragon is up. Give a Mundo an Ocean Soul, Chibi, and he will live forever.
Yeah, give a mouse a cookie, they'll keep coming back. You give a Mundo an Ocean Soul, he's going to take your Nexus, pretty much.
He'll never leave.
He'll never leave, right? He'll actually never leave, because you can't force him out of here. Sophian, though.
Good dodge there by Shameful, forcing the flash of the Sophian. They want to look for more. They tagged him up. Joker Shadow is going to drop the ultimate on top of him. Great job there. A big shutdown going over to the Vi.
Counter collapse, though, coming out from RDG here.
Varus ultimate doesn't quite land. Falling asleep, doing what he can, trying to buy time for his team. They're on the wrong side of the tracks. Pops is trying to come in to help on this collapse. The top laners are not showing up. It's a 3-for-3 for right now. Falling asleep, gets engaged on. He's not very tanky. He hops over to the side. Charm coming out. It's going to land on the Braum. Duck is low. Duck's barrier's there, but it's not enough. David's still healthy. Dracian on the side. David is going to be able to shut down on to the Kaisa, and Pops onto the side is able to get the Braum.
Messy fight from RDG, trying to do the counter collapse here as we see some fighting in the bottom side. But man, that guy is recovering a lot of health. All that hard work Toast to Toast put in.
Undone.
Gone in an instant. Yeah.
They have no heal cut, Chibi, and this soul's up in a minute.
Yeah, they lost a
You
lot
have
of
to win
members. Yeah, you have to win this dragon next 4 times, right? The thing about dragon stacking and why it's so lethal is that Maelstrom just has to win the one out of the next 4 dragons. and their win condition is set here. Maybe they're relying too heavily on the innate heal cut, the innate previous wounds in Duck's kit, but I feel like you've got to pick up either an Oblivion Orb, Thorn Mail, or an Executioner's Calling here on the side of RDG if you want to try to like get in to, you know, kill this Mundo, because he's just healing up so much.
Somebody's got to do something here. Ari on the top side with teleport available, looking to take out this turret. Dragon in 22 seconds. Dank Memester looking to link up with his team. His teleport should be up shortly as well. It's a 4v4 near the mid lane for right now as Jax heads to the bottom side. His Vi's going to get the engage. Just a little bit of damage on David. Dank Memester off to the side, throwing briefcases, saying, hey, I'm here. Pay attention to me. Doing a lot of damage too.
Those briefcases hurt. It's the first ability you max.
5v4 to start the fight right now. Here comes the teleport. Backside, they're going to get on the Vex. Sophie and forced to get away, but they're going to be able to burst out the Vi. It's a 5v4 once again. Chains of Corruption does a lot. They take out Dank Memester, and now the rest of Maelstrom is reeling. They have to try to find a way to get out. Falling asleep, doing what he can to keep his teammates alive, but the carries are here, ready to go. Charm lands, but the Braum blocks it. Low health bars on the side of Rubber Ducky Gaming, but it looks like they will be the ones to claim the dragon. They will be able to stop the soul stacking.
I really thought that Vex was going to die there. Some interesting target selection.
Jax,
Oh, Toast
counter strike onto two. They're able to get out. Toast and Toast taking a lot of damage. So many low health bars. Duck still charging forward. David is in there, and David finds a kill. They're looking for more, and they get more. Rubber Ducky Gaming not giving up.
Pops is so high in health, he just doesn't have any way to secure any of these kills here. I really thought the Vex was going to die in that earlier fight. We saw the ultimate come down from Joker's Shadow. They just didn't have enough oomph, not enough damage. And you talked about Dank Memester not building any resistances, all health. That man got absolutely shredded. Duck with the Bork and Ginsu's ripped through him like wet paper as Toast is going in now.
Ari trying to dash away. The rest of the squad is here. They do force the teleport out of that Vex, but get nothing more. And with Pop's teleport down and Shameful spawning, this could be the opportunity to go to the Baron. Remember, Dank Memester does have teleport available. They did spot out that ward, but it looks like Rubber Ducky Gaming are just going to pull it anyway.
They got Varus.
Pink is going to cut the vision out. Baron just getting started up and doing a hell of a lot of damage at the side of Rubber Ducky Gaming. The question is, does Maelstrom want more? Dank Memester with teleport available, just continuing to push onto the side, looking to get as much damage as they can. Joker Shadow is able to go in. Charms are out. Charms laying onto three members. Knockups are there. That teleport's coming in. This Joker Shadow falls, and they take the Baron for themselves, and 2 more kills. Dank Memester now is getting chunked out. Pops has to flash over the wall. Dank Memester in the middle of everybody getting knocked up. He's got to flash away. They're able to trade a kill back. It's a 3v4 right now. The health bars are low, but Dank Memster's is pretty high. He's looking to find Duck. One more briefcase to do it, but he's feared. He's got to get away. They tag Duck somehow, some way. Shameful curves the bullet, and they want more. The charm is out. Toast has to go away and has to let his mid laner die. A double kill for Shameful as they're pushing more and more. Pops is diving the turret, uses his ultimate to Toast, and Toast feels the breeze on his back, but nothing more. And almost once again, Shameful from downtown like Steph Curry, but he can't quite land that one.
A nice turnaround from Maelstrom, even though RDG ended up getting the Baron. Crucial kills going on to both Pops and Shameful, the 2 big damage threats for Maelstrom Esports coming out on top here. And realistically, yeah, you've got Baron on 2 members, but RDG, very risky Baron, man. I get it. You have the Varus, you've got the Zinzao, you've got the Jax, you've got a lot of damage on your team. But I don't know if this Jax has been allowed to participate in these team fights the way we thought, right? So much gold going into his pockets. Those 5 plates in the top side, tier 1 in the bottom side, tier 2 in the top side. I need to see him get onto this backline, or at least peel for Duck here, peel for his carries. This Jax 203, I just doesn't feel like he has the impact I thought he would. I feel like Dank Memester is doing so much more with so much less.
It's true, Shibby. I couldn't agree with you more. One thing to watch out for. I don't know if that Titanic was done in that fight, but it's done now. I think it wasn't?
No.
Okay, yeah. Well, now you can see what this Mundo was building for. He's going to do a hell of a lot of damage. He's just going to head to the top side. As Rubber Ducky Gaming looking to utilize their Baron pretty well here. They don't necessarily have a crazy range advantage. But you remember the last time they executed their Baron pretty well. I believe they got 4 turrets off of it. A team that looks like when they get Baron, they'll be very, very strong. Forces Dank Memester off the side lane, and Sophian is the one who's split pushing on the side and is going to ping out Joker Shadow and try to force him away from his jungle. The Maelstrom Esports has to give up a lot of ground here.
Yeah, I don't know sure if I necessarily agree with this lane assignment as well. I feel like Toast to Toast, the solo laner with Baron should be on the side lane, and Sophian should be grouping up with David and the rest of the gang with the other Baron, right? But instead, they're just kind of roaming around as this like 4 to 5 man kill squad, leaving Sophian on the side lane. And I don't think we're gonna get a base race here, but they're gonna go for potentially this tier 2 on the bottom side. Baroned up minions, not much Maelstrom Esports can do unless they look to just collapse and play the fight. We see Vi charging up the Q, Fallen as well. They want this so bad, but I think if they overforce, they run into a situation where they one fight and they lose the whole game.
I think they're just going to do it, Chibi. I think Maelstrom's going to look to overforce on this play. See Toast to Toast looking to back here. Everybody is here. 3 members have been spotted out. The Vi, not the Vi, I'm sorry. The Ahri gets targeted. They're going to land a knockup over onto Sophie, and they're going to go and engage onto Sophie, who was on the back line. Toast to Toast gets in there. Sophie and off to the side. He goes down as RDG. They let themselves come apart for 1 second. Nice dodge there on the knock and falling asleep. And now David is getting in there. He's pretty healthy, knocking away Joker Shadow. Joker Shadow stunned up and he goes down as the members of Maelstrom are falling apart. Shameful is doing what he can, trying to survive. That charm came out. Shameful, can he turn it around? Not quite. Toast is able to just barely edge him out. With the dragon spawning in 2 seconds. Once again, Maelstrom Esports unable to secure this dragon.
Jax, the rest of RDG coming out on top here. A hectic fight. Maelstrom Esports forced the engage. They tried to get their dive composition going, but Duck virtually untouched that fight, right? Firing away on this Varus. Very well played. And Sophian giving his life for his team, just being like, hey, I'm the distraction, deal with me. Dank Meepster, no resistances, no armor, no MR, gets absolutely shredded. Again, like wet paper. I just feel like he's not as tanky as he believes he is.
You know, typically you see Mundo's build a Titanic very late, you know, perhaps a 5th item or a 4th item. Opting to go in for it early has really caused a problem here. Makes him strong in side lanes, but guess what? RDG is not a team that will just, you know, not know how to play against a split pusher. They play very well against split pushers. You can see Maelstrom does the same too, as they're going to engage and throw everything they got at Zophian and take him out. Teleport coming in from this Jax. So that is a key summoner burnt here. It's Maelstrom Esports doing well to stop RDG from pushing their advantage any further.
And this is what I wanted to see from Maelstrom Esports in Game 1 when they had that Nico Nocturne comp and like look to punish on side, because Sophian would just kind of like not necessarily overextend, but not really respect the engage distance from Maelstrom Esports. Glad they're doing it on the Vi Ahri. A couple more of those and Maelstrom Esports can really look to knock down potentially inhibitor turrets, the tier 2 on the top side. Like if they keep catching Sophian on side or even Toast to Toast potentially on the side wave, objectives will start falling in their favor. And Maelstrom Esports, despite it being, what, like a 2,500 gold lead for RDG, very well feel like they could just turn this game around in an instant. Especially with Shameful being 8, 5, and 6 on this Kaisa. 3 items in. This guy hurts, man.
Truly feels like anybody's game, Shibby. As RDG trying to do what they can to take control of their top side of the map with this Baron up in about 10 seconds. Things are getting very dark, though, as Maelstrom Esports starting to choke out the vision. Toast to Toast on a side lane dealing with pops right now. This Shameful's going to go on the back line and try to get Duck. Joker Shadow is going to be targeted. He's going to be feared. He's still alive for right now. He's staying alive, but he's got to try to find a way out because everybody is chasing him down, and he's not where you want to be. Jax is on the side, close to the mid lane, as Joker Shadow realizes that his life is forfeit. That is Baron's the jungler of Maelstrom down with Baron available.
Baron is up, and you overcommit onto Duck here, who's got barrier, who's got flash. Team is on his way. I mean, I respect the look, but I don't know if that was it, especially with the key objective being up right now. TP coming in, Dank, Meemster, or no, sorry, Pops on that backside looking for a flank. Although they know where he is. They spotted him out. They pinged him here. Risky Baron from RDG. They can still lose this fight. Yeah, they've got to get this Baron and get out or turn.
Side. The charm onto Sophie, and Sophie on the block on the way back. He's still alive for right now. They blow up the Mundo. Falling asleep, gets the knockup, but he can't do anything more. Somehow, some way, Sophian is still alive. A huge Braum shield, and it does stop the Baron, but that means so much was invested by Maelstrom, and they get nothing.
They lose Mundo once again here. There was an opportunity for Maelstrom to potentially turn this fight around, but crucially Shameful, no mana, right? Not really able to get his Q off. his W, anything, no E, nothing. So he just has to stand there and auto attack against the Varus, who loves auto attacking, right? One hit Varus. He has the Terminus, the Ginsus, the Bork. You're just not going to win that fight. A valiant effort. Pops could have done it if he got one kill. If he got that kill on his Sophian, easily could have reset and probably wreaked havoc against RDG. The Locket, the Knight's Vow that we talked about, Gratian picking up, putting in the work there, and really good Braum pick so far. Unsung hero for this team right now.
Yeah, he got caught a couple of times, but has been playing a pretty damn good game regardless. 1 minute left until this next dragon is up, Shibby. Again, Maelstrom Esports, you talked about it before. They just need one. And if they get it, there's still no, finally we have heel cut, sorry. We do have an Executioner's Calling on Toast to Toast. We finally have magic resistance on Dang Memester with the Spirit Visage. And we also have a pause in a really tense spot here, Shibby. 31.5 minutes into this game. Just about a 3,000 gold lead for the side of Rubber Ducky Gaming.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank Aegis Esports for coming in with the raid. For
Hell yeah,
everybody.
you rated a good game, Aegis.
Yeah, you rated a very good game. Right now, RDG, Rubber Ducky Gaming, up 1-0 in this best of 3. We are in full Fearless, so these champions are brand new to both sides here. And right now, Maelstrom Esports looking to kind of claw their way back in. It hasn't been as close as we'd like it to be. RDG have kept a steady 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead, but Maelstrom Esports have been finding some interesting fight angles, and RDG have been playing this Vex, Varus, Xin Zhao comp really, really well, causing chaos in the back line. So for everybody joining us, very good series. Maybe we take it to game 3 if Maelstrom Esports can execute on this dive composition.
This game's a little bit more fiesta than game 1 in terms of kills, Shibby. However, the macro has remained for both of these teams. Dang Memester still split pushing, but he on the bottom side this time, making sure he doesn't burn that teleport. You can see Pops off to the side, looking to land a little cheeky charm. And Shameful doing what he can to poke it down. This is what Maelstrom needs to do.
Yeah, but right now, what is Jax doing? Right? All that split pushing, the 6 grubs, all the gold. I need to see him kind of have impact in these fights. He's got a nice score line, but I really need to see him kind of run onto this back line or peel for his Varus potentially if he needs to, and really just lay the damage on. Right? This guy's so far, he's getting wave after wave after wave. I don't know if you want to give this over the Ocean Soul, though. I mean, maybe they feel like it's a non-factor, but we talked about it earlier. You give a mouse a cookie, you give a Mundo an Ocean Soul, he's not going to leave.
He's got Spirit Visage too, Shibby, so this is a calculated trade here by Rubber Ducky Gaming, but the question is it worth it? They're so slow on this Baron too, and they're forced off. They can't do it. They give away the Dragon for free. The Soul specifically, Toast to Toast, regrouping with the team, but Maelstrom has the inside track. They have a wave pushing in the mid lane as well. Sophian getting the back canceled, and now the pressure is on. Maelstrom Esports looking to find a way, and Sophian gets tagged. Big engage, Shameful off to the side, and now kiting from the back. Charms are going out on the back line. Look at Mundo, he's still not going down. He's still alive, he flashes away, and that's the difference between souls, but it doesn't matter. RDG continuing to push forward. Toast to Toast is low, but he's able to walk out, and once again, a tight fight. It's a 1-for-1, but you can see Rubber Ducky Gaming much worse for wear compared to Maelstrom.
Both junglers going down here, so no threat of the Baron, because there might be a re-engage coming out from RDG right now. A couple members of Maelstrom Esports overstaying. Fallen should be out of there, as well as Kaisa. But really good call out. Don't know how much more juice RDG has left in the tank, because Maelstrom just got a direct injection of Nas with that Ocean Soul.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you saw that fight, Dang Memester refused to go down. They have a little bit of heal cut, right? They obviously have Varus E as well. He's going to be standing on that for most of the fight. It didn't matter, Shibby. He's got the HP, he's got the damage, he's got the self-healing, he's got the magic resistance. This is where you did not want to be if you're the side of Rubber Ducky Gaming. You needed to put the game away before you gave up their Dragon or Dang Memester wised up. And guess what? Both things have happened. It looks like it might take a critical error for Maelstrom Esports to lose this game.
I mean, they're no stranger to those, right? And we saw in game 1. Unfortunately, Pop's not able to really get that neutral ultimate off.
It wasn't a
Kinda
critical
stealing
error.
bait.
He got ulted away by Cassandra.
He got ulted away. He just wasn't in position. I feel like Maelstrom Esports,
He
they
tried.
kind of overplay their positions a little bit here. And Joker Shadow coming in with this Vi. Let's see. Another
They're
fight.
never afraid to fight when they have Ocean Soul, but guess
No,
what? The
no.
fight can still get blown up. The critical error, Shibby, it's occurred. Oh, Maelstrom Esports EXE has stopped responding. This Rubber Ducky Gaming pick up 2 in a 4v4.
Yeah, Mundo not being in that fight. No big front line. Both Fallen and Joker go down. A Baron tried again from RDG. This is the 3rd dance they've had. They've got rejected twice. Let's see if they can tango with Baron and Maelstrom Esports here.
Carries are still alive. The Baron goes down. David trying to get in. Shameful trying to get away. Doing what he can. Dang Memester will finally fall. The flash is on. Shameful trying to live. Charm misses, which means David's able to go in. Shameful getting a big shield to the knock up on the Pops. Pops has to go golden, and Shameful's got to walk away. Pops flashing to try to get away, but he goes down. A big shutdown. They went to the dance so many times, and finally, Rubber Ducky Gaming gets their date, and the Homecoming Kings looking to push down mid.
RDG, Baron on their backs, all purpled up here. Sophian with the TP available. Toasted Toast as well. You got to believe they're going to TP onto a minion, stall it out so they can push here. 2 members still down. Dank Memester, Pops unavailable. But instead, they're going to play it safe. They're going to take the mid tier 2, cash the gold in their pockets because they spent a ton on that date with Baron, unfortunately. They almost went broke here. So let's see. They've got 6,000 gold lead in their pockets. RDG are cresting upon their 5 items. Almost the big carries are almost at their full item capacity here. On the side of Maelstrom Esports, you've got Ocean Soul in your back pocket. That is a win. You've got a little extra oomph, but you need to have your Mundo there. You cannot fight without him.
Critical error, but the game not over yet. Maelstrom Esports on the back foot, but we saw what they were able to do in prior fights. They've got the survivability. They just need a little bit more damage. It's going to be a little bit harder. David finishing that Kana Garukern, you know, my favorite item. And a lot of magic damage on the side of Maelstrom Esports, especially with the type of build that Shameful has gone for. Does have that Rabadon's Death Cap, does have the Blightning Jewel, pair of Blightning Jewels actually on the side of Maelstrom. So, you know, the magic resistance going to mean a little bit less. But Sophian with Azonias finally means that they can go in with reckless abandon almost at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to fly in Cowabunga rocket power style and hope that his team just
Hit him with a
wins
woogity,
the rest-
woogity, woogity.
Yeah, right now, as they're going to push that bottom lane tier 3 here, crack the base open just a little bit.
They're
And
looking for
look
Toast
at-
in the mid lane.
I
They're
don't know
not
if
going to
that's
be
the
able to get
move.
him. They're forced off. The bottom inhibitor is going to go down. And they burned Rakan ultimate as well, so this fight's going to be a little bit harder. Twisted Toast off to the side. He's going to
Oh
go
my
in on
God.
Joker Shadow, tag him up for a lot of damage. And here comes Sophian into the fight. Duck has to deal with the Mundo, but they're able to peel back after blowing up the Rakan.
Oh my
Mundo's
God.
got to try to get away. Shameful is doing what he can, and so is Pops, but they just don't have enough damage right now. Dang Memester, though, is back in full. The boss, he's got the second health bar, but he gets blown up. The inside track is for Rubber Ducky Gaming. It's Pops and Shameful, who haven't been able to do a damn thing in this whole game, and they got to try to keep this one. The first Nexus turret falls. The second Nexus turret is under siege as Pops has to go golden. Shameful finally claims a kill, but the Nexus will fall all the same. In 2 very close games, Rubber Ducky Gaming comes out on top, 2-0.
38 and a half minutes in, RDG, Ocean Soul be damned. We're just going to out-damage your healing. It doesn't matter how much healing you can do here. And unfortunately, Maelstrom Esports does fall 2-0. The box score doesn't really tell how close these games were, right? This is the closest 2-0 that we've seen in BOL Masters so far. Well played from Maelstrom Esports, but Rubber Ducky Gaming coming out on top, trusting their comps. 2 dive compositions versus 2 kind of like peel compositions, and Duck this whole fight putting the weight of the world on his shoulders. 65,000 damage. Not to be outdone, though, both Pops and Shameful trying to do their best, combining for 100k on their side. It just wasn't enough. And I think the critical error, like you mentioned, Maelstrom Esports, they made one in each game that kind of cost them the whole game, right? Vi and the rest of Maelstrom Esports fighting that 4v4 without the Mundo sealed the Baron, sealed their fate, propelled RDG into an item advantage. And in game 1, that Nico ultimate not being able to land, not being in position, and getting stuffed out by the Cassante. 2 big critical errors, but good job from RDG to just stick to their guns and stick to their composition.
Yeah, I like the way both teams played, and they did a great job peeling for Duck later on in the game. I mean, that guy had so much space in a game where we thought to ourselves, Shibby, that he wouldn't have that much space, but it feels like after that play they made on the mid-inner turret, where Joker Shadow went in for Duck and was not able to kill him, and they lost a lot, they stopped going for the Varus at that point. And, you know, this is a composition we expected to be able to get on top of him and take him out. And, you know, that last fight, it was so rough because Fallen Asleep had burned that ultimate to try to stop Toasted Toast. He don't have it for that fight. Ends up feeling like it made the difference. And unfortunately for Shameful, who did 55k damage, Kaisa Q is really powerful, but when it hits 5 different targets, it's really just a drop in the bucket. But Shibby, if this is what the teams in Blue Otter Masters are bringing to the table, mind you, it's week 4, and this is only my second week casting because I had some other obligations. If this is what the teams are bringing to the table, I cannot wait for next week.
Yeah, I feel like we've just kind of hit the tip of the iceberg here. BOL Masters, full Fearless, coming out on top and just having some fun, right? Like both these teams, really cool compositions, really cool champions. We got to see the Seraphine, we got to see the Mundo, we got to see Ashe, obviously one of the more dominant champions here. Vex coming in, really, really cool champions all around here. So I'm very excited for what it entails, and I'm excited, you know, when we hit playoffs for that best of 5 full Fearless, because that's where it gets really wacky. But that is for the future here. Very well played from both teams here. I had a lot of fun casting this. A good first game, a good first series for us, Yanni, right? This is our first cast together on BOL Masters this season, and I'm glad we got to cast these 2 teams. Maelstrom Esports and Ducky Gaming. I feel like it's not the last we've seen of them. We'll probably see these guys in the playoffs, no doubt.
I hope so, Shibby. You mentioned that you were excited to see them play the rest of the season. You know what else you should be excited for? You should be excited for some more Blue Otter League action. We've got Emerald tomorrow, 7:15 Eastern is when Otter Talk starts. And after Otter Talk, it'll take you right into Omega Wooper versus the Shadow Cows. Crewman 44 and Gitano will be there on the cast. And then, of course, there's more Blue Otter action throughout the week. On the 9th, we have Platinum. On the 10th, we have Diamond and Gold. So make sure you mark that down on the calendar. It's not going to be too hard. It's same time, same place, just a different day. But that'll be it for us here this evening. So for myself, for Shibby, for Chippy behind the glass, thank you all so much for watching this crazy series with us tonight. And we hope to see you next time for some more Blue Otter League action.